Hello, hello, hello. Can you see me? Can you hear me? You should be able to see the starting screen, but soon it's going to change over to something else. Because let me tell you, I'm doing something I'm going a bit extra on this one tonight. That's fucking right, we got slides, baby. And these are actual transitions. These are scenes that I will be controlling with a Stream Deck. I think it'll work. I don't know. Actually, I haven't tried it yet. Maybe it won't work. Either way, it's it's Google Slides, so Slides, babe. I told you. What I say, lecture's coming. And it's time. I got my tea now. I'm a Philistine, right? I'm drinking tea, but I've left the bag in, so it's going to get slowly stronger over time. This is my way of, when I code, right, I do this. I leave the bag in. Because if I don't drink the tea fast enough, it gets really grim and horrible. So, my way of preventing myself from drinking cold tea is put the bag in and give myself some urgency. You know what I mean? Pro tip. So you're gonna learn all sorts of shit tonight. Coding to me feels like a just chatting stream though. Like it feels like I'm just gonna be, I'm just gonna be chatting really. I'm gonna give another 5-10 minutes before I get going. But any questions on the setup, I'll get the stuff installed. Now's the time. I also completely appreciate that there will be a delay between what I'm doing and what's said in chat, so I'll try to go slow enough that anything that comes up, it'll be handled. You can piss all over yourself all you want, Amalek. Just bring the good thing about doing a live stream of this is that you can take it to the toilet. You could be, for all you know, I could be taking a shit right now while I teach all of this. And plus, I'm not going to be teaching very well. I'm going to do my best. Anvil Cadagum Dogdion Leheris, which is exactly what Mike says. Anvil Cadagum, yeah, pretty close. Yeah, it is spelled pretty wrong. But you know what? A+ for effort. What do you think of my background music? Is it okay? You can find a link below. I'm using Lo-Fi Girl. You know, some calming, you know, calming music, because we got to stay calm. And trust me, programming is a thing, it's a test of patience. So, you know, the most important thing is we stay calm whenever anything goes wrong, anything breaks, anything doesn't really work. We gotta keep a level head and get through it. Now. Is the stream quality okay? Does it look fine, actually? Like, can you read the Valbot? Because I want to make sure that my numbers are okay, like everything's fine. Everything's sharp enough. I think it is. I didn't bump it up to 7... it's still on 720. I bumped it up to 720, so it's a bit more readable. But we want to make sure things are the way they are. I'm going to keep the music on, by the way, the whole time. If it's too loud, I'll adjust it. Alright, no problem. I will adjust it. Let me just... Oh. Digging the music. Good to know, Bento. Yeah, like it just makes things a bit more like just chatting. It's just weird, like, I get the just chatting stream. Oh, I don't want to at people, but I know there was some folks getting set up for this, and I want to make sure that they're here for the start. Alright. Just at the shit out of them. I'll let them know. Alright, I'm just letting people know. Okay, those are 2 people. I'm in the process of sending my replacement file, and I'm listening to miles of taping. Miles of taping. Tapping. Miles of tapping, I think. Oh, duct taping the shit out of this phone. Oh shit. Man, sending back shit must be so hard from Alaska. Like, I have a hard time from Mayo in Ireland. I imagine in Alaska it's like a fucking shit show. Because, like, you just don't trust the postal service. You really couldn't trust them to do it right. All right. All right. All right. Our post office is just one tiny room. Do you know what? So's mine, to be fair. I've only a wee post office. Except my mam, her Mother's Day card. In Ireland, Mother's Day is this Sunday. My mam's very nice though. She was like, if you buy me anything, I'll fucking batter you. You just got a house, Val. And I was like, alright, fair enough. What do you want me to do? I don't know, donate money to the Red Cross. Them Ukrainians could do with it. I was like, yeah, sound, I was going to do it anyway. So I was really happy to like, my ma's cool. She's a good person. There's Ron Seal Diamond. How are you, Ron? What's the crack, lad? I hope you have your seat now. Oh, that's right. We have slides because we're going from start to slides. It's time. I think it's time, ladies and gentlemen. Why don't we get going? Now, look. I'm gonna designate Flying Bento or Ron to keep me on fucking track here, right? Ron, this is your responsibility now. That's it. I've roped you in. Or Sig, anyone can. Or Lacey. Or Malik, anyone. But if I start going off on a tangent...
Fliff, not even counting it.
Ah, Sig, that you didn't mean.
Less than 3.
Big man. Less than 3. Oh, because it's a heart. I see. Oh, thank you very much. That was very nice of you. Alright. You should have a channel point system that says focus. Fuck, I should. I'm going to use that. I less than 3 use so much. Thank you so much. That's great. Alright. So, what are we doing today?
Fliff, not even counting it.
Yeah, thank you very much as well. I appreciate that. That's very nice. Fliff. Alright, well, I less than 3 you very much. Both of you. All of you. Your internet is so shit at the moment. Ah. Well, hopefully, Ron. Did I win the content lottery? I'm not sure if I did. Is it possible to change the quality settings? Because if you can't, then we didn't win it today. Win the content. Ooh. I won it. Oh, you can. Oh yeah, no, you're good. Can be changed. All right, I won the content lottery. So if your internet is bad, you can actually put it down a bit. I'll try to explain. I'm gonna blow up the screen. Anyway, listen. I'm going in on it, right? Because it's now 9 past, and I have a schedule, right? And when you see the goals I have, which I'm not going to finish all of it, but when I see the goals I have, I'm lofty in my ambition. Anyway, so what we're building today. What are we building today, chat? Okay? Today, I'm just going to lower this down a touch. All right. Yeah, that's better. What are we building today? Well, today we are building Valbot 010. I'm not making it Valbot 1 because Valbot 1 will be released to the public. Alright? So Valbot 1 will be something you can just run. Okay? And that'll be available for any streamer who wants to use it. Actually, funny story. Here's my first tangent. Funny story. This week or last week was the first week I've gotten tweets about my previous scripts that I open sourced, which felt very good. So that's really spurred me on to be like, I'm going to do more of this shit. I'm on it. But the versioning is 010. Now, 010 is because this uses 3... I'm going to go into it, right? Yeah, I know, right? Bento is so great. I got 2. Another person said it today as well, asking for a different feature. But I'm kind of done with chatbot, for Streamlabs chatbot. And the reasons are because of the way they behaved with OBS. I thought that was really shitty, and kind of... I don't really want to keep contributing to Streamlabs, so this also spurred me on to make my own bot. But anyway, so... 0, this is for major versions, so anything when I do something major that could break something and go really big, right? I'm not on Twitter myself. Well, if you ever have it, you can follow me at Valverdian. Just Valverdian. I'm the same name everywhere. Except for TikTok. I'm not Valverdian on TikTok. I'm Val_Verdian and I don't use it. But it's there. I'm squatting. Anyway. 0, 1. So 0's major versions. This is like I'm kind of on the way. And this one is a minor version when I have to do a hotfix or something's really broken. Alright? So that's kind of the versioning. I'm using what? Min, minor, hotfix versioning. Okay? So, Valbot. What are my goals for 0, 1, 0? Okay? And this is a big, there's loads of goals. But basically, we want to be able to interpret a single Twitch chat. Okay, so we want to interpret what you are writing in chat right now. I want to get that into a script that is going to listen and pay attention to what's going on that chat. Okay, now it'll read everything, but obviously I wanted to respond to specific actions. So that's why normally in chatbots you'll notice that people use an exclamation or some other delimiter. They're called delimiters or not delimiters. They could be tokenized is another word. It basically means that it finds some sort of, actually, prefix is probably the best word. It goes through every single word and it looks for a specific prefix and it goes, if that prefix exists, then it goes, oh, well, that thing at the start means this could be a command. So I'm going to read the whole thing, and if it works out that it is a command, then I'll use it. So basically, I want something that can first interpret Twitch chat. So I want something that can read Twitch chat. That's the first thing I need to build. And then once it's able to read it, I'm able to perform actions in an efficient and safe way. So obviously, I'm using Electra. I'm using a certain way that won't be overly efficient, but it's very easy to follow along, or it's the easiest way to kind of get going, and that's why I chose it. But it'll be safe because it's a sandbox, which is a sandbox. I'll go just to kind of clarify what a sandbox is try to think of it as like a safe space to do work. That if something breaks, it's only going to break the app. It won't break anything else. Fun fact, the technology I'm using was used for Slack. It's used for actually Visual Studio Code. The very app you're going to code it in is the same technology that's actually used for the thing you're going to be building. So it's a cool kind of like all over the shop. And yeah, Ron Seal, if you ever make a Twitter, you only need to follow 2 people, maybe 3, 4, 5. Actually, there's a lot of people you should follow. Starting with Flying Bento and a Maulik. Anyway, so what do I want this to do? Okay, because like, all right, it interprets everything. That's fine. But I wanted to do 2 things to begin with. I wanted to pull all socials. So my Discord, YouTube, etc. can be listed somewhere, interpreted, and then just in a simple JSON file, I'm going to hold all that into some sort of configuration. And then once that configuration is read, it's just going to list them all out. All right? And then another thing I want to do is I want to replicate my currently existing sounds chatbot. Okay, my sounds script. I want to replicate what already exists there, where I could just list all the sounds based off a file, have cooldowns for them, and just kind of have them that they play whenever someone uses it. So whenever someone uses a given command that should associate with a sound, it should play the sound. Simple enough. Okay, so those are the 2 things those are my goals for 1, 0, 1. Oh, sorry, 0, 1, 0. I'm gonna get that wrong too. I'm just gonna call it first. Now, the thing is, I'm gonna have to have the app separate from my own private files. In order to do this, I need to actually give myself a private token, and we'll get into that later. But the point is that one of the goals for this is because I want to distribute it eventually, I can't commit up my own private keys. That's kind of stupid. That would be a big no-no. So instead, what we're going to do is I'm going to have to find a way to separate those out. So that's another goal. But that's kind of like a me goal. That's not a you goal. That's a me problem. All right. Everything cool so far? I'm going to take a second at the end of every slide to like make sure that we're good to move on. That's me slapping my belly. Is my chat working? Can you hear me okay? I was wondering what that was. That was me slapping my belly. Am I good to move on? Okay. Now I slap my belly. Okay, cool. So, future goals. All right. Now, if you've been in my chat before, you remember the randomizer. I want to revive the randomizer. Randomizer revival is a future goal. What that means is any channel points that get ran, I actually also interpret those. So right now, the first goal is to just check the chat, right? And check chat. But the next goal would be to also check if, channel points have been redeemed. That's a bit more challenging and it takes a bit more effort because I have to listen to a different port and a different part of Twitch. I remember doing it before as part of the scripting engine, the earlier script, and I have to listen to a completely different action that does come down from Twitch, but it's much harder to understand and not as straightforward. So that's going to be a future goal. Another future goal is I'd like to build an auto shoutout system. This is great for like people who, like to, when someone comes in that it automatically does something. So I want to build a thing where like streamers who are known by the user can be listed in a comma separated list. So you can like list all the people and then when their name comes in, the chatbot recognizes and goes, oh, hey, Bento, what's the crack? Oh, hey, Ron Seal Time, what's the crack? Oh, Sig, what's the crack? Oh, Amaulik, what's the crack? Lacey, how are you doing, you sexy man? That's what I want to kind of do. I want to have something that'll automatically say something back. And I'm going to be very cheeky. All right? And I'm probably, when I release this chatbot, I'm going to automatically have my own name as one of the people in it. And it's just going to say, hey, Val's here. Or hello, master. Just something stupid. If I chat and someone else is chat and they're using it, it will like respond to me in a really weird way. Maybe I'll have it that it says something really awkward, like, what are you doing here? Or don't be a vain prick looking at your own work. You know what I mean? That could be fun. I think that might be, I don't know, does that seem like a bad? Yeah, I think it might be a fun little Easter egg. I could even expand it to like more people that I know. If say for example, if people started playtesting this or messing around with it, I'd add their names. So then all around Twitch, there could be just this like, if someone's name is this and they start typing, then if they're using this chatbot, if it ever got big enough, it'd be quite funny, just to like randomly. Speaking of eggs, you're automating a personal response. I want the personal touch. Imagine it goes viral. It has an Easter egg. Yeah, that's a mean. Imagine if Twitch makes a joke going like, "Who the fuck is this Valverdian guy?" That would be the best outcome. Would be just that it's used by a bunch of people who never like bothered, to say, "Oh, I use ValScript" or whatever, and like gave me zero credit whatsoever. But someone says the word Valverdian in their chat, and their chatbot goes like, "Hey, I know that guy." That would just be quite funny. Just like, no getting away from that one. But that would require the chatbot to be very useful. So I think if I got randomizer working and I made it very easy to use, then I think that would be something that maybe a lot of people would want to use. I don't know. But then I'm showing everyone how to make their own. So, you can always make yours and get ahead of me. Who knows? This is more about coding for fun. I have a good job. I don't need to make it big. I'd like to. It'd be fun. But, yeah. Anyway, example. If someone wants to make the sound egg come up. Oh, yeah. So, the last thing I want to do, which I haven't really got touched off, is called the flexibility engine. So this is where it's going to get really fucking out there. And that one I probably am going to have a hard time even explaining. Okay? Basically, lads and girls have a special get a shout out. It's automated. Exactly. I got to automate my life, man. All right, Ron? I got to automate it. You automate everything. I'd love for it to be big. Thanks. Well, I definitely put your name in it. Imagine, just someone says the word bento and they're like, are you talking about flying bento? That would be quite funny. Just the chatbot just randomly mentions people. I'm sure I'll be done for spamming. I don't know. Who knows? But anyway, let's get into the next thing. Flexibility engine. Now this is a bit more complicated, but what I want to do is I want to add a UI. Now UI means user interface. So right now all of this is like coded and it's all under the hood and you can't see it. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to have in the app itself, I'd like to have a UI scripting element, right? Which means you could drag in like particular things and put them in. How to explain this? All right, have you ever used anything like Battlefield's setup system when they come up with game rules or anything like that? You come up with like rules that certain scripts can kick off. I want to have something like that where like you can like make up a load of rules and anything that the app has, like a channel point redemption, a given app, or it like changes the color of the thing, or just messes with something to do with like, say, all right, I have this screen, right? I have this see-through app. I have this see-through web view that I use for the channel point redemption system, right? Imagine if I could use this see-through web view and anything that someone wants to add to the see-through web view, like change the color, add a stupid ghost for 5 seconds, do stuff like that. All of that's kind of doable off the flexibility engine. So I'll have this like web component-esque based kind of transparent layer you add to your own OBS, and then when someone does something, like when you put together a certain amount of actions, it changes that layer to be whatever you want. But it also, you can kick off sounds, you can just do automatic shoutouts. It can be as simple and as complicated as you want. And the cool part is it's all done without any JSON editing. So up to this point, when I talk about JSON, I'll get into that. A lot of things I'll get into them when I have the coding, when I have the terminal open. But for now, you're just going to have to trust me. All right? You're going to have to edit files to get things to work. But once Flexibility Engine is there, you don't have to edit files. It's not about editing files. You can just kind of use the Flexibility Engine. And that's why I wouldn't release a 1.0 without being able to just do it inside an app instead of having to like edit files. I think editing files is kind of beyond some people. And I don't think it's a good enough product. So Flexibility Engine, or even before Auto Shoutout, would probably be where 1.0 would come in. You know what I mean? Because that's where something's like really appeals to people. I think that would be really cool to just have this flexible system. Sound good? Okay. Sounds good. So, and even more goals. All right? Improved UI. I need to make the UI better. User interface has to be like actually good. I am a total fucking idiot when it comes to HTML UI coding. I'm kind of all right now, but I was fucking awful at it at first. So when I'm doing this bit, watch me be a noob. Now, bear in mind, all of this is not going to be done now. All right? I'm probably not even going to get all of this done. It's just, I want to give you a sense of where I'm going with this, because everything that I do will be building towards future goals. When you build something, you kind of have to think about what you're going to do next as well as what you're doing in the moment. Now, the first stream and this first piece will probably be very like, oh, you know what? I'm just kind of coming to terms with how all of this works and figuring it all out. But after that, I have to then think of a structure and how I can actually build on it. Because if you've learned anything from the release of most games that have come out, any AAA games, is that when they build everything just for that like one purpose, you can see it's kind of all over the place. But if you build it in a scalable, cool way, then it's more stable. I don't know. Source versus Frostbite. Shots fired. Sorry, not sorry. Final thing. Let's make the release open source and free for folks to use. Now, note, I won't be doing tons of tech support on it. I mean, I have a full-time job, so I mainly would just be fixing bugs that I personally find or that I feel like patching. Feature requests will be a different thing altogether. If someone says, actually, do you know, it'd be really cool if you added this, I'll only add the stuff that I actually think makes sense. Like, you know, there's sometimes folks come in and they give you a suggestion and it's like, that's cool and all, but it's not really what I'm going for. Like, ultimately, I don't want this to do too much. Because in the end of the day, if you want something that does auto shoutouts, Stream Elements is great. If you want something to do something else, other things are great, you know? There are loads and loads of apps out there that are great and do loads of great work that are way better than I could ever be, and they're full-time jobs for those people. So what I want to do is just make something a little different and works for me, and it's a fun little coding project for me as well. So like, this isn't going to be a full-time job for me. I'm gonna fix it when I see it, and if a feature comes in that's really cool, but it's just like, I just want that thing that Stream Elements has, then I would just suggest use Stream Elements. You know what I mean? And that's kind of my attitude. But yeah, I'm going to try to automate as much as I can, because automation is cool. All right. So, tech and stream plan. Here we go. This is where the plan comes in. So, I'm terrible at web stuff. Always have been. I am a SDK... playing with some people I'm just half watching. Looking forward to the stream. Thank you, Sig. Thank you. Appreciate the lurk. I'm terrible at web stuff. Always wanted to learn. I'm not amazing at any of it, really. So this might be a good opportunity for me to pick it up. So this is a learning experience for me just as much as you. But I want to prove that coding is something that anyone can do. You don't, like, I just have a lot of experience in learning something. So, you know, I know what to look for. But what I might talk about while I'm doing this, because I have to learn it myself at the same time. Now, I've done a little bit of practice, so I don't completely freeze. But what I'm going to do throughout this stream is I'm going to basically point out the things I look for, you know, in a language. How I Google things. How I look up stuff. What you should write if you're trying to do a specific thing in Google and stuff like that. Just like, you know, how to look up the shit for yourself, because that's what you're going to need.
Fliff, not even counting it.
Oh my god.
You're coding, I'm coding, everyone is coding.
We're all coding, Nazgul. Welcome. How you doing, pal? I'm just going through my slides. So that's the first thing. I'm not great at web stuff, so I'm going to learn on the spot. Now, I mentioned Node earlier on, that you need to install it. I could have wrote this whole app and then just had it open up a terminal and type Node and whatever the JavaScript is, the JavaScript file is, and that would have ran it. But it would have had zero UI, and it would have been really hard to like get anyone else to use this who didn't want to install Node. So I decided to look around, and I found a really good system called Electron. Now, what is Electron? Electron is what Visual Studio Code runs in. I think it's what Discord runs in. It's basically a lot of the apps that you use on your Windows device that also have website variants generally are written in Electron, or use Electron as their basis of actually kicking something off. And it's surprisingly easy to use. Now, it's from what I understand, it's not super easy, because there's a couple of things you need to understand about a render layer and a processing layer and a main thread and all that shit. Fine. That stuff is complicated. But outside of that, you know, so, you know, yeah, like, I feel like it's a good enough trade-off to use something like Electron, you know? So I'm going to be doing that. I need to do some private OAuth stuff. OAuth is the authentication system that Twitch uses. Twitch authenticates. The reason why you don't need to put in your password every single time you come back is because there's this cookie that holds a key to say, hey, that person was here before and they use this key. And when you sign out, it removes that key from your browser. But that's how that works. And OAuth is a way to, like, you can take the same kind of key that you generate when you're on a browser and generate it into, like, you know, generate it on an app. That's how OBS keeps you going. It refreshes, I think, every 30 days, because it OAuth eventually goes out. It stops working. I think for Twitch it's like, I don't know, 6 months, but like a good bot will, you know, refresh every 30 days. But that's why if you don't use your OBS for a while, you have to sign back in because your token wasn't refreshed. What's your secret key? I'll never tell. That obviously can't be committed. Obviously, I'm not going to share my private key. So I needed a private piece of JSON I can access from a JSON file, but can't open on stream. So I'm also going to go into things like nested Git, but do you know what? Let's not worry about that for now. That's something I'll deal with way later on. Why don't we just focus on what we're doing right now? So I actually regret putting that in. So the stream plan, get the basic app set up, get all my hello worlds going. If you don't know what hello world is, it's the most common term when you start up code. You write hello world. You make sure hello world appears. Why not use environment variables? Good question, Ron. I can see you're a developer. Environment variables are very useful, but the problem with environment variables in this case is that if someone ran it from an exe, it would be like I still need to build it in a way that someone could run it from an exe. So the best way to do that is to store it as some sort of JSON file, and that way it's not dependent on my specific platform. So that's why I didn't go with environment variables. I went with something a bit more easy to understand. Also, environment variables is not something you want to go through with someone who's just starting off. I get them, but how do you explain that to someone who is not great with web development? It's not. Or, you know, I don't know. I feel it's more complicated than just using a JSON file. Ah, yes. Hello world. See, Bento, you get things. So, set up the basic app, get all the hello worlds going. I'm going to commit the first attempt so we have backups and can roll back in case anything goes wrong. The reason why I talk about commit is when I'm talking about Git, okay? And Git is what I'm going to use to kind of like, you'll be able to access my shit on Git. And if you ever want to do your own work on this or mess around with it, you'll be able to clone mine and mess off it. Or if you want, you can have your own Git and then I'll teach you how to do branches, which allows you to do a bit of experimentation and not worry about breaking it, okay? Now I've done a little bit of research, okay, so on some stuff. So the next few points are based on my research. So second off, all right, so that's the second thing. We need to commit the first attempt and all of that will kind of go there, all right? We need to look through NPM. NPM is Node Package Manager, right? That's why I got you to install Node. Node Package Manager keeps every single library that people commit a lot of open source stuff to NPM. And it's really great because it means you can kind of like, if someone already figured out how to like run a sound or make JavaScript do a certain thing or run through a file, you don't need to fucking know it. You don't reinvent the wheel when you program. You find open source technology that does a lot of the similar stuff, and as long as it has the MIT license or the Apache 2 license, which when you apply a license to something, it basically legally says, yeah, you can use this for whatever you want, you know, and as long as it has the right license, you could use it. So that's how it works. Now, it's up to their discretion if you brand something against it. So the reason why Streamlabs got in trouble is because Streamlabs literally used the name OBS. OBS is open sourced. You can extend it and do whatever the hell you want with it, right? But if you use the literal name OBS, you're saying I own OBS, and then OBS stops being searchable. So it takes all traction away from OBS itself. That's not cool. Right? That's not what you can't rebrand something as your own, right? But what you can do is, what Streamlabs could have done is they could have just said Streamlabs Live or whatever the fuck they're calling it now, and then they could have used entirely OBS under the hood, and that's totally legal, totally fine, and not a bad move at all. And that's where they fucked up. And I'm talking about that because NPM and all this other stuff, and why I'm calling mine Valbot is because, you know, if someone goes and makes another thing called Valbot, then that would be a dick move. But if we made Bento Bot and it was exactly the same code, totally cool. That's the point. That's the point. You want to be careful. names are what matter. Reputation are what matter when it comes to open source. And there you go. You can see I have a lot of experience in this. Anyway. So I'll be either using TMI.js or Twerple.js for the actual Twitch integration. So I need to decide, because I spelled that wrong, need to decide on use cases which is better supported. Everything else, how to get sound, styling, is going to be done on stream, okay? Now, look, I've decided which one of these are going to use. I think I'm going to use TMI.js. TMI is like Twitch Managed Integration or something JS. It's a JavaScript library that runs with Twitch. It knows how to do things. So, you know, I think I'll use that to kind of get connections and work out that. And you'll see it's actually surprisingly easy. So that's great. Now, there's all sorts of these libraries that exist. So, you know, I don't have to worry about actually getting a Twitch connection and writing like network code or any of that shit. That doesn't come into it. Not yet anyway. If I ever feel like really going deep and writing a super performant chatbot, I'd write it in C++, and I would write my own network code, and I would use the Twitch APIs myself. But I'm not fuck doing that right now, and I don't think I could teach that. That would be something I'd write on my own, or I'd write with just some music in the background, and it wouldn't be something I'd share. It's boring to watch, trust me. And also it's a lot of me going, huh? Why doesn't that work? Okay, yeah. It's just, yeah, and a lot of procrastinating, because like coding is 95% procrastinating. And then 5% going, oh shit, I need to do this. So yeah, final point. This is from scratch. I'm not going into this prepared, so it might get boring from time to time while I debug or read things. Okay? That's what the music is for. I 100%... Yeah, I completely get that, Bento. C++ is not... It's not a learning language. It's not a learning language. It's a cool language, and it's the fucking most efficient language there is, but it's not a learning language. When you have to manage your own memory, that's just a fucking... It's a dick move to try to teach people that. Look, it does give you an appreciation for the other ones, like Java or whatever. But yeah, it just doesn't... Yeah, it doesn't fuck with me. But that's what the music's for. Any questions? I'm going to give chat a little bit of time. If there are any questions, does all of that sound clear? It took me 50 minutes to get to... It took me 40 minutes to get through my slides. So, any questions at all? Anything that you want to know before we move in? Because we're going to dive in after this. And terminals and all the other shit are going to be open. And I'm going to move at a fairly decent clip now. I'm not going to go particularly slow. I'm going to go... I'll go slow enough. Undergrad, went from computer science to anthropology. Nice. Now as an adult, I've gone back to my master's business, picking up some coding. It's now intertwined with every... Yeah. Yep. You can't be in business without coding. Even like SQL is pretty much on every query. So, you know. It's just the way it be. Whew. I think getting through those slides fairly quick. I call it SQL, but people refer to it as SQL. And I like... Fair enough. The SQL, I just call it SQL. Structured query language. Good shit. That is super cool. Ron Steele is right. Very cool. Big POC. Okay. With further ado, let's get in on it. So, first things first. Right? We need to make a repo. So, I use github.com. And for those of you who don't know, this is my GitHub. Right? This GitHub is specifically just for my own chatbots and sounds and stuff like that. I actually back up a lot of my stuff on GitHub. Because GitHub's just like really cool for that stuff. So a lot of my chatbot stuff that I work on actually all exists inside the GitHub. I have my own chatbot backup. I have my own info. I actually use my OBS stuff is up there as well. This is something a little different that I've been working on, and I'm not ready to share that. But that's some Unity work I've been messing around with. Other than that, yeah, this is what I'm going to use to back up all my stuff, and I'm backing it up. I'm also going to make it public, and you'll be able to access all the code that I'm writing right now will be here. So you won't miss out. Okay? So let's get in on that. So first things first, we need to make a new repo. And we're going to call it Valbot. Okay, so Valbot's available. Fantastic. Now I'm going to make this a bit bigger in case you can't see it. All right, and remember, if you can't see, if something doesn't make sense, if something's blurry, if something's wrong, tell me right away. I will do my best to make it better. So we want to make this Valbot. The description is we're just going to go to basic chat app, written basic Electron Twitch chat app. Okay, super basic. All right, and I'm going to say it's Electron because I want people to know if they search for it or whatever, they go, oh, this is Electron. Yeah, I want to see how this is done. I'm going to make it public. I can choose who commits to it, but it's anyone who can see this. You can see it, you can download the code. It's all there, it's all going to be there. I'm going to add a README file. I'm not going to do anything with it. I'm going to add a git ignore, and I'm not going to have a template for it. It's just going to be an empty template. And I'm going to choose a license. Remember what I said about licenses? This is where it comes in. My license is MIT. Okay? What's the MIT license? Well, I'll show you. The MIT license is an open source license that basically says, permission is hereby granted free of charge to any person obtaining a copy of the software and associated documentation files to deal with the software without restriction, including without limitation, rights to use, copy, modify, merge, publish, distribute, sub-license, or sell copies of this software, and to permit persons to whom the software is furnished to do so. So basically, you can do whatever the fuck you like with it. I don't care. But if you modify it, it's yours. Which means it's not really my problem if you modify it to do something bad. But I'd rather you didn't. Okay? Okay. So why can't I create the repo? Project James, all project files goes around Twitch, blah 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 blah. Yeah, why can't I? Huh. Why can't I click make? That's weird. Have I missed something? Oh yeah, I've chose no license. Fuck. Okay, there we go. No. Get no... Alright, yeah, okay, right. You can't have no template. Nah, fuck that. I don't need a template. I'll add the git ignore later. See, like I said, we all make mistakes as we go. And this is something I want to be very clear on. I'm going to fuck up a lot. Alright? I'm going to fuck up a lot on this stream. I'm not going to be perfect, right? I don't make repos every day. I make a repo maybe once every, I don't know, 6 months. So like, you know, I'll make mistakes. I didn't know that git ignores could have no template. I thought you could just have a git ignore file. But that doesn't matter. Great repo. Boom. Look at that. We already have a fucking repo. Fantastic. And the best part is, it's right there. You should be able to see it. If you were to click on that or go into it, you can actually see it. You could even star it if you wanted to. Starring it would allow you, if you ever used it, if you ever used GitHub, you'd actually get updates on whenever something committed. Now, the initial commit has absolutely nothing in it. All it has is a README file and a license file. That's it. So, we want to be able to edit this. Now, there's two ways to do that. You can actually just press the period key, and it actually opens up a web editor where I could do all the work inside here. Right? And that's very cool and all. And that's a cool way to like look through the code, and you can look at it from a coding perspective. And look at how this looks. It looks just like Visual Studio Code, right? That's neat and all. But that's not how we're going to edit it, because we can't do, you know, local stuff. And we want to build a local app, right? So the next stage is for us to actually check this out. So how we do that is we actually want to pull it down, right? And I'm going to pull it down into my G drive and just work from there. So the current repository is not what we're going to work with. I want to go, this is what I'm using right now, and I'm going to close it and open it up again. But what I'm using right now, by the way, to search for things, you can press Windows S on your Windows 3, and you can just GitHub Desktop. And I'm using GitHub Desktop, which is an app you can download from GitHub to pull stuff from Git. Now, I could just use the command line, but fuck that. I'm trying to teach you how to do it in a simple way. And a UI GitHub thing is way, way easier, all right, to teach people about. So, I'm going to go up to File here, and I'm going to clone a repo. Now, what I want to clone is something from me. So, I want to clone the Valbot, okay? Now, you can see that it's already given me a local path, my G drive. My G drive is here, my SSD. That's where I want it. I want it in my SSD because I want to be able to access my sounds in a really efficient way. I want to try to access sounds in a shit way. Why am I cloning it? Because I want to make a copy of it that exists on my own branch. So I'm cloning it is basically just making a copy of it that exists in my own local file. Sorry, my own local file system. So if I click clone, what it does is it just clones it, and then now I'm on the repo Valbot. I'm on the current branch main. I've got my commit view, and I'm already there. But if I open up, say, the G drive, you can see Valbot's right here. Look at that. There it is, Valbot. With license, readme. There's the local copy. So, now it's time to open this up. So I'm going to right-click Valbot, and I'm going to click Open with Code. And this is where we're working. This is the Visual Studio we're working with. So I'm going to quickly jump to code, and it's black screen for a second, but I'm just going to get my IDE in. And let me find it real quick. And there we go. Fantastic. Now, you notice that GitHub's in the corner? That's because every time I open up GitHub, there's a hook to show it. So there we go. Look at that. We have Visual Studio Code open. Okay? Now, to the left, you can see that I have the Explorer. This shows me every file that we've already seen, and it's a mirror image of what we can see in, whoops, wrong. It's a mirror image of what we can see inside this. It's exactly the same. We can see a license and a readme. How often should you commit, and how sorry. Hey, Dwar. I was so in it there, right? Alright. How often should you commit, and should you do it in bulk or one file at a time? When I was using GitHub for my bot, Nazgul asks this. When I was using GitHub for my bot, I keep forgetting and then push 5 hours of code at the same time. I use a system, that's a great question, Nazgul. So I actually use a system where I actually have a timer that every 40 minutes I have a quick look. But I used to do it that way. I used to every 40 minutes have a quick look, and I just open up GitHub and go, oh yeah, I can commit this stuff. Or I do it whenever my tests start passing. So I do a bulk, I do a small little change, and then if my tests are still working, then I'm like, oh right, this is a good time to commit with a big explanation of what I just did. I treat my commits like live journaling. When I get a certain point that I know it's not broken, I'll use it. It's a very hard question. I guess the answer is it depends, really. Like it depends what you're building. If you're building something that you have tests, I say whenever your tests are passing, and try to do small changes as you go. If you're doing something that you're going to be working at a long time, and you know you're kind of like you're in the flow, I would say set a time limit, and every 40 minutes to an hour, reassess your Git, make sure that you're like ready to go, like this is fine, and then if you're that far, then commit. And otherwise, it's down to like working blocks essentially. I don't know. It's down to the person. It really depends. Anyway, back to Visual Studio Code. So, this README file we don't really need, but I'm going to keep it there anyway, so I'm just going to close it real quick. So you can still see my thing when I switch over to this. Now, I've switched it over to code, so now you won't be able to see when I open up other stuff. So you use it when you know it's working and not just for restore points. That's an interesting take. Yeah. Sometimes it's still kind of a restore point. It depends. Like a restore point for me is a working point Nazgul. So like for me a restore point is like, you know, like if it still works but like it's missing a piece, then that's a restore point for me because I can still use that or I can still go from there. It's when I've broken everything I'm like, I'd rather not commit until it's like at a point where I'm like, this is fine. This I know where to go from here. So, where are we going next? So, I want to give you a bit of a walkthrough of how what Visual Studio Code is set up like. So, we've got our views at the top. So we've got our Explorer on the left-hand side, which shows us all our files. Now this is made very big. I've made this quite blown up. Okay, I've done that on purpose because I want to make sure that you can see the code. And if it's harder to read, I'll make it even bigger. But you know, let me know and I'll make it bigger or smaller. Right here is the code editor. Right, this is where we write our code. On the left is our Explorer. You can see that there's very little in there. Still has a copyright from Valverdian. Hell yeah. Right? Okay. And yeah, that's Valbot in a nutshell. The outline is just like for whatever thing you have open. So ignore that for now, because that doesn't come into it unless you're doing like proper like JS coding. So what we want to open, you can open terminals like on your own on your desktop, and that's doable, but when you open up terminal there you have to traverse to wherever you are and what you're working on. I actually prefer, if you're working on something and you want to be self-contained, use the terminal inside Visual Studio Code. So in my case, that will open up exactly where we are. Oh, sorry, Dwar. Also, how are you, Dwar? Sorry, you're off the lurk. Thank you so much for the lurk, Dwar. But I hope you're doing well. I'm less interactive with the chat when I'm giving a lecture. I'm sorry. But anyway, look. What you want to do is you want to. I tend to use the terminal when I need to like inside Visual Studio. Now, one thing you need to be sure of with the terminal, you need to know how to do. One is with terminal, you need to make sure that you know to kill the terminal. There's two ways of doing that. You can press Control C, which kills whatever process you're on, or you can go to PowerShell, click the PowerShell, and make sure it's kill terminal. That should kill whatever task it's running, but then you have to reopen it. Also, terminal is pretty cool. You can write all sorts of stuff. Like if you write clear, it just clears whatever's on the screen. A good way of checking your terminal to make sure it works, you can write echo and just do hello. And you'll notice that the terminal has echoed hello back. Right? That's one way. Now, before we start any development whatsoever, we need to make sure that we actually we make sure that our node is set up and everything's working. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to type node and I'm going to go -v. And what that is it's a command to tell, oh, there should be something installed on our terminal called node. And -v, I echoed your mom though. You are literally at the very start, Stig. The very start, man. The only thing you missed is when I made the repo. So hello. Alright? So node-v is the very first command. And you'll notice that mine says backup versions. That's the version of Node I've installed, which is version 16.14.0. And remember, it's exactly the same formatting as I said. Major, minor, hotfix. That's our formatting. That's why our Valbot is referred to as 010, because that is what we're working on. We're working on not the first release, but we're working on, you know, that kind of thing. So, let's see now. What else can we do? Okay, so this is great. So another thing that Node should have installed, if it's worked right, and this is, Stig was very good because he actually asked about this. Another thing it has to install is npm. Remember, I mentioned npm earlier. npm stands for Node Package Manager. So we want to make sure that npm is set up. So npm-v again, and lo and behold, yes, Node did install the package manager as well, which is great. That's how we're going to pull down the extra JavaScripty stuff. It's also how we're going to get started. Okay? All I have right now inside Valbot is a license file and a README. And just to get you caught up, Stig, I'm going to switch back to desktop and show you. All I've made is a GitHub repo. I started it up. It's public. If you want to check it out, you can. It's right there. But if you don't, you can make your own. Totally up to you, right? And all it has is a license file, which, because I use MIT license, and it has a readme.markdown, which is just because it's boilerplate and it sets up the repo. All right? That's all it has. Nothing. And all I've done is I've cloned it. All I've done is I've cloned it to this Valbot, which happens to be on my G drive. It's literally just one file. It has readme and license. And I have done nothing else. Okay? There's no code, no special stuff here. You don't even need the license and the readme. Realistically. You could literally open up a file, make your own directory, and you're exactly where we are. And I wanted to just, as that aside, that's for you. Okay? Mwah. Okay. Let's move on. So, we've tested for Node, we've tested for npm. We have what we need. Fan-fucking-tastic. Okay? So, let's move back. Let's get on the code, right? And let's move on to actually getting started. So, the first things we want to do is we want to initialize an actual app, right? So, remember, do you know why I like npm? It's because npm also, you can initialize with it. You can start up like a very basic web application just by using npm itself. So inside the terminal, and please tell me if you can't see the terminal. I'm actually going to wait a second and I'm going to ask chat, can you see what I'm typing in this terminal? Is it clear enough for you? I'm going to wait a second. I'm going to sip my tea and ask. Because it's so important you'll be able to read this. Yes. Okay. Brilliant. Why? Look at this. Look at Stig's already using the developer commands. Hell yeah. Okay. All right. That's 3 yeses. We're golden. Right. So we start off and we go npm init. All right. Init is short for initialization. We're initializing it. Okay. So I'm going to click enter. I'm going to press enter. And what it does is it asks me a series of questions. So what's the package name? Well, I'm just going to call it Valbot. All right. What's the version? We know we're making 0.1.0. Cool. What's the description? It's Electron Valbot. All right. I'm at try open your thing again, Ron. Maybe it'll be okay. Description Valbot. Put it to 480p. I think you'll be able to read it then. Okay, so we want to do Electron bot for Twitch. I'm just going to do whatever I want here. Description. Now, entry point. This is important. The start that it would ask for normally would be index.js, but we're working with with Electron. And because, remember I mentioned threads and different things? Index.js kind of refers to websites, right? But we're not building an index.js. We're actually building a main script. So main.js. Oh, you're in the country tethering to your phone. Ah, here. Yeah. In the grim. All right. Main.js. Boom. Okay, my test command, just skip it. Git repository. It's already there, baby. Look at that. It already auto-completed that one. So I just enter my keywords. I'm just going to go Twitch, bot, bustin'. All right, author is Valverdian. Feel free to write yourself. You deserve it. License, MIT. And you'll see now what it's done is it's generated JSON. Now, I'll explain what JSON is, but what it means, what JSON means is JavaScript object notation, I believe. I'm going to double check that because I can't remember. But what it is basically a data structure. It just structures shit together. It's just a good way to like have things kind of like, you have things like in place, right? Is this okay? Yes. Fantastic. And look at that. We have a new file. Package.json is now generated. And we've got it here and it's beautiful. It has everything we need. Apart from this test nonsense. Fuck tests. All my homies hate tests. Well, we're not going to write tests today. We might write tests another day, but if I were to write, see the way this script, I'm going to go into it, but let's go down the file and I'll just show you how JSON works. Now you might have noticed, right, that I can actually collapse things here. Look in these little things. I'm going to do that because I just want to show you. So why does this package exist? Well, for one, it allows me to centralize all my scripts in one place. Two, I hate tests except when I'm deleting them. Yeah, man. That's the best part. I love tests. I write 20 tests for every fucking file I have. I am too insecure to not write tests. Some people are so confident. They got that, like, effect. Can you scroll up and show what you started with? Had to make a new GitHub really quick. Oh yeah, no problem. You know, if you're making a new GitHub, by the way, you can all the stuff is you can generate it on the GitHub thing. I can actually look. Do you know what, Stig? Just for you, I'm going to deviate for a second. Sorry, chat. I'm going to deviate for a second because Stig's my boy. I got to help him out, right? If you go to repos, if you go to like Valverdian or like you go to your own Discord, your own thing. Go to your repository. Oh, you cloned mine. Oh shit. Okay. Okay. Then never mind. Back to Visual Studio. Back to Valbot. Code. What was it? Scroll up and show what you started. I cloned yours. Oh yeah. So pull it. If you upload. Oh yeah. I'll just upload it. Yeah. Cool. Actually, I am going to upload in a second. So, whoops. Clear. Okay. I'm going to upload in a second, so I'll upload what I have in a second. I'm just going to do one or two more things just to get it going, all right? Because we have a couple of things we need to clean up this package, so just wait for a second. Actually, do you know what? I can put up what I have now, but you'll be a bit... actually, no, I'm going to put up what I have now. I'm changing my mind. First off, I want to show you this cool thing that I can do. So if I open up GitHub, I actually want to show you what GitHub would look like. This is a good entry point. So all I've done is added the package.json, and you'll notice now in GitHub desktop, it's showing the exact file and all the changes, and they're in green, and it's just showing that. And if I ever want to exclude that one from my commit, I could just do that. So I'm just going to go package.json and just go added a package.json. Added a package.json, not fully formed yet. Okay, commit to main, and once I've committed it, I have to push it as well. So push. Now, you won't be able to push to my branch, as far as I know. Maybe you are, I don't fucking know. I don't think you will. You won't be, I wouldn't push anything anyway, just pull what you have there. But if you pull now, Stig, you should have what I have. Exactly. Alright. Let's go, baby. So let's go through this package, okay? Now, don't forget, if you ever get stuck, there's a Discord, all right? And I will answer questions on the Discord, no problem, all right? Feel free to meme and ask questions. I might even make a coding channel, so you can, maybe the I'm making something channel can be this. I don't know. Current game is coding, baby. Let's go. All right. Deviations aside. So, first thing, we have our name. We specified that when we did the init. We have the version, right? We have a description. We have main. We have scripts. We have repository. We have keywords. We have author, license, bugs. And homepage. Now, 95% of this doesn't matter, right? What the repository is, that only matters if I put it onto npm for like other people to use it. Keywords, same. That's for when people want to search for it. Author and license, same. All of this is kind of for npm's benefit, because everything that when you make a package in npm, when you make a package, you can also publish it. So this would publish to npm as Valbot, right? Which is, I might someday do that, but I'm not fucked. It's Electron bot for Twitch. The description, all of this, actually, the only thing that you need to care about in this is your main, which is main.js, and scripts. Everything else you can more or less ignore. Okay? Is there any questions where we are right now? Just any questions floating around before I move on? Because I'm going to start getting into installing packages after this. It's actually pretty sunny where I am, Ron Seal. Weather's pretty good. Weather's pretty good. No questions, sir. All right. Salutes all around. Let's go, baby. I want to see some booze in the chat. All right. So first things first, we don't run tests, so we don't need this, but I'm going to edit it later when I'm done in a second. Actually, no, I'll get rid of it. I don't need tests. So we have no scripts right now. Okay. So basically we're not kicking off anything. We can't, this doesn't do anything right now. Okay. So I just deleted line 7 there, which is by tests. All right. Because we're not going to do tests, okay? How you would have kicked that off, I'm just going to save it real quick, and how it's going to kick off, I would have run npm test. And you'll see all it does is it just says no test. It's after echoing error no test, and it exits the terminal out. That's all it does, all right? Because there are no tests. So this is kind of a pointless script to have. So I'm just going to delete that, okay? And you'll notice I press Command S, or Control S, sorry. I'm used to coding on a Mac. I press Control S almost every time I make an edit, just so it saves. You can also, I also like to run format document a lot to make sure my document's nice and like formatted, looks nice. So you might catch me just running right-clicking and clicking format document. I'm going to make a habit. I normally use the short command, which is I think Control-Alt, Shift-Alt-F, right? Okay? That's normally what I'll do, Shift-Alt-F, to like format it. But I'm actually not going to press those. I'm going to try my best to like use visual stuff so you see what I'm doing. You can format and save, you know. I know you can, but another reason why I didn't do that, Ron, is because I'm trying to make this that if I bring in any plugins or I bring in any adjustments to Visual Studio, then people are going to be like, where did that come from? How do you do that? So I completely and utterly don't want any situation where that can be like, hang on, let me just bin that. There we go, PowerShell. I don't want any situation where it's like confusing. You know what I mean? By the way, what happened there is you can make as many terminals as you like. You can have 3 terminals going. I just had an extra terminal that I just get rid of. Yeah, so there's one PowerShell terminal. Okay, problems of nothing, output is nothing, debug console is for JavaScript debugging, which we're not using. Because again, we're not debugging a website, which is what this is normally used for. Okay, so let us carry on, okay? So first things first, we need to get Electron. So the cool thing about Electron, right? The cool thing about Electron is that Electron is a cross-platform application. It's used by loads of people like WhatsApp, Visual Studio Code, which we're using right now. Twitch itself uses it. Slack, InVision, tons of people do it, right? Missed the important part, setting a dope theme. Then you can code like a real hacker, man. Oh, fuck. Later. Discord is Electron. It is Electron. So there's loads of shit that already uses Electron, and that's why I'm going to use it, because it's easy to like get to like showing something on screen, which is fucking baller, and that's what we want to get to. So erectron, as what I call it. No, I don't call it that. What is wrong with me? Fuck, this is showing up and this is gonna end up on YouTube. Okay, anyway, so back to the code, right? So we want to get electron. So the first thing we want to do is we want to download we want to actually install electron as one of our dependencies. Now you'll notice that in the package.json there's no dependencies here yet, so that would be too difficult to do. So you can actually instead you can go down to your terminal again. Terminal is going to be your fucking best friend here. Terminal npm install. Now we don't want everyone install. We don't need to install electron like for every person who uses it. Well, this is a dependency actually. No, do you know what? I'm just going to make it a dev dependency. So when you're developing, it is used. So I'm going to add -- save dev. This is optional. You don't have to do this. Save dev electron. Okay? And I'm going to press enter. And what this will do is it goes out to npm itself, the repository, and it finds electron, which is basically the package. Now you'll notice I have this new thing added here called node modules. All right, is that so the Git doesn't fuck up? Yeah, kind of. But you'll notice in my package.json now, I should have some dependencies. Where the fuck are my dependencies gone? Let me close this. Don't save. Open it up again. There we go. Dev dependencies. That was weird. Okay, but in my package.json it's now added electron. Like, does it add it to the git ignore? Ah, no, it doesn't. So node modules is not in the git ignore. So the reason why I did save dev is because it's a development dependency. So there's two kinds of dependencies in npm. You can do dev dependencies and you can do dependencies. So if someone were to check out a dependency, I can put electron in here too. But the reason why I wouldn't put it in here, Stig, is because I'm only using it to develop on. It's not really like if I were publishing this to npm, it means everyone who would download this as an npm package would also get electron with it. It means it can't run without electron itself, right? But because I'm not publishing this to npm, I don't need to add that as a dependency for npm. I can just say it's a dev dependency. It just works off dev. Do you get me? As in, like, when I'm developing this, I need it, but when I've finished it, I don't need... When you install it, you don't need electron yourself. That's what I'm doing. That's what it means. The difference between a dev dependency and dependency is like that. Adding it to a git ignore is actually... That's a very good point. I have not made a .git ignore. So I'm going to make a git ignore now. And then I'm going to add node modules. All right? I'm going to show you what happens when you add something to git ignore. So if I open up my GitHub, right? Okay? And I don't have it in git ignore. Everything from node modules has now been added. All these commands, shitloads of stuff, right? And this is what would fuck up your GitHub, because you're like, what the fuck did I make and what did I not make? It's very hard to tell. But node modules gets pulled every time, right? Okay? Node modules gets pulled every single time you run npm. Okay, so like this is a fucking shit show. You can't tell what you've made and you haven't made. So if you make an extra file called .gitignore, and I put node modules into it, let's put node modules in there, bitch, and we go back here, boom, gone. Now all we have is gitignore, the package, and the package lock. Now some people say you shouldn't include the package lock. That's also what dependencies are currently in use and stuff, but I commit the package.lock. All right, this can be many gigabytes in size. It can be, Badman, which is also why you don't want to commit it to a repo. So always gitignore your node modules and add a space after it, for Christ's sake. That's it. Beautiful. Oh, Ron, you're damn right. I'm gonna sip. Oh. Oh, the tea is fueling me. I have tea with honey in it because I know I was going to be talking for 3 hours. Anyway, let's get fucking accelerated. All right, so we've added our git ignore node module. So I've added a git ignore file, and I've also added Electron as a dev dependency. Another dependency we need is actually we don't need a dependency for now because this is all we need for now. Actually, we'll go slowly. We're going our own direction. So we have everything we need to kick off a Windows app right now. All right. So I'm just gonna go back to desktop, right? And I won't commit this just yet because I have a bit more to do. But I want to show something. So if you go into you've installed Electron now. npm knows what Electron is, but only in the context of your application. Okay? So it knows if I use Electron anywhere else in my computer off the terminal, it won't know what I'm talking about. But Electron can be kicked off by just typing the word Electron. Okay? And it'll try to build anything that has Electron in it. Okay? So we have the basics of an app, but we don't have enough to actually run it. But when we do have to run it, we need to actually start it up. So in scripts, I'm going to add a start command. And all that does is does electron dot. And what that'll do is it'll go electron. The dot means this folder. Whatever folder you're in, it does this one. Okay? I could go electron dot dot slash, and I could go, I don't know, G slash, and go into anywhere else in my computer if I wanted to. Right? But dot is just saying, relative to where the fuck I am right now, do whatever. Okay? So it's going to go inside Valbot, it'll run whatever code is right there. And that's what I'm kind of setting up now. So that's our package done. And that's us ready to kind of start kicking off shit. Okay. Now, if I were to run this right now, it wouldn't do shit. But I'll try it. npm start. And what this does is it says, well, there's nothing to fucking run. There's no main.js. So why did you even try? Okay? So that won't launch. That's fine. We don't need Valbot to run on that shit right now. And note that killed the process as well. But if you want it to be double sure, you go here, you kill terminal, you go terminal, new terminal. Up to you. I think the process is dead. I know it's dead. Rest in pepperoni. I cry every time. Okay, so let's move on. Welcome back to R, by the way. I hope your lurk was nice. We're getting into it now. We're getting into the saucy part of coding. Okay, so we can start that off. It does absolutely nothing, right? But the entry point of every single Electron app is the main app. Okay, so the reason why this broke, the reason why it wouldn't kick off there, okay, is because on main. All right, it was horny on main. No, it was on main.js. It's JavaScript on main. The main file here, right, doesn't exist. We don't have a main.js. So where the fuck was it supposed to go? So because it had nothing, it had no file to reference, it didn't know what to do and it crashed. So we want to go new file and we want to make our main.js. Now our main.js does fucking nothing right now. And it won't actually even start up an application yet because it doesn't do anything. Basically, this will fail in another point now. If I make this main.js, it's here now, and I can go npm start, and it'll still fail. Or will it actually? I don't know if it will actually. I'm not sure. Pretty sure it'll fail. Yeah, it's not starting off. Yeah, okay. So I just killed it there with Control C. So this is the thing, it's funny. I'm not sure what that would have done. But it looked like it just hung because it had nowhere to work with. And we still be horny on main. Still horny on main. 100%. Okay, so we need to build. Okay, so we need to build a couple of things, all right? So basically what we've done is we've started up and we've made the basic. We've made our main JS, but because we also need to have like a render layer, right? We have to have something that renders too, all right? So the reason why I didn't probably start up is because there's nothing to render it, okay? Now, I know I said we're not building a website, but there is a website that runs inside Electron. So we need to make a new file, and we're going to call it index.html. All right? And this is just a basic HTML file. So we obviously have to tell it it's a doc type HTML file. Now, you'll notice the Visual Studio Code will auto-complete a lot of this stuff. Doc type, cool, enter. Magic, all right? And we want to start, well, obviously it's HTML, magic. See, I'm not doing shit, man. It's all starting off on itself. Head, great. And inside head, yes, please. We can do meta. And we want to do charset UTF-8. Now, look, if you don't want to follow along with this, remember, I am going to commit this after I finish this. So if you don't want to type this and just pay attention to what I'm writing. ESOS 2. Start giggling uncontrollably. That's awesome, Batman. You found it. So Batman has accidentally found the Windows error sound as a chord on guitar. Started giggling uncontrollably. E sustain 2. Very sus. Okay, so I recommend just watching what I do if you want to follow along, because I'm gonna commit after I finish this, because this is just a lot of code to like write, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna copy and paste in some boilerplate code, I think. So I have some code ready that I'm just gonna copy and paste in. Some of this is just like is actually from it's to UTF-8, so we can type yeah. So I'm gonna copy in some boilerplate code and then I'll explain it, because I think that's faster. All right. So as I said, don't try to write this. I'm gonna commit this after. But what this does is I'm preventing this content security policy stuff is just comes from Mozilla. UTF-8, I started that. This is a title that just says hello world. I'm going to rename this to be Valbot. Okay. And this just says hello world in header 1 inside the body. And this is shit that we're going to do soon. But this actually comes from the Electron tutorial, right? Like Electron tutorial, that I want to make sure that Electron send and mute place. I don't want to pull yet. All right. For you, I'm going to do this, right? For you. If you do want to follow along, I'm actually going to paste this code into muted, okay? In the Discord. All right. Where's the code? It's in the Discord. Okay? So there you go. Anyway, so I'm just gonna I want to run through it though, okay? And if any questions come up on, well, what the fuck is this? All right, just ask, okay? So we got a doc type, which is HTML. It's HTML. These are just tags to kind of describe things. This is the header tag. So there's normally a title inside the header, but then there's also a bit of instructions. This one obviously says to use UTF-8. And it also has these two content security policies. They come from Mozilla itself. I'm not going to bother going into it, but it basically just makes sure that stuff is not... It doesn't... I think it prevents cross-site scripting. Anyway, it's just good practice to put that meta in there. I don't think you need it, but I just put it in because I want to. The body is where we're going to do all the real work. Inside it, I just have a hello world. And I want to make sure that my Node version is working, Chromium, because funny enough, Node runs off a version of Chrome. I want to make sure the Chrome version is working, and I also want to make sure Electron is also, I have the right version. So these spans, right? A span is basically means that don't make a new line for this, just put it inside the same line that this is already on. And I just have an ID against what Node version, what Chrome version, what Electron version. Now, right now, this won't do fucking shit, all right? Because we need to write JavaScript to tell, hey, whatever this ID is, make it this, okay? And you'll note that this span is empty. So what we'll be doing is injecting a bit of HTML in on the JavaScript side to like add in like what we're doing here, okay? Okay? So the next part is, this is cool. We have this HTML, but when we start up, it still doesn't know what the fuck this is. Remember, our entry point is main.js. Okay? That's our entry point. So if we start off the app now, it still won't use this. It won't know what the fuck this is. It's there, it's sitting in the code, but it doesn't know what it is. So we actually have to go back to main.js and we have to say, oh, well, hey, this super cool file is actually a very cool thing to start up and show. So in the main.js, we need to first off start using Electron functions. Okay? So Electron has all these really cool ways of like, oh, do you know what? I want to access the application. I want to make a browser window. And I want to do all sorts of that stuff. So first things first is I want to import some stuff. So in JavaScript, you import, there's loads of ways to import, but because this isn't modularized, don't worry about it. We actually have to make a constant and then make references to that constant to use it. So I'm going to make a constant and I'm going to have, I want to reference the application itself, and I also want to reference a browser window. All right, and neither of these make sense right now, which is okay. But when you add, in order to make sense of this, we have to say I require Electron in this case. Okay, I don't think you need semicolon at the end. It's like up to you. I always put a semicolon at the end. It's just like, because I'm used to like what's it called, compiled languages, and they use semicolons. You technically don't need them, but you know, that's it. So then what do you do from there? Okay, so it doesn't run shit because so what we're doing is we're telling the Electron app that we want to start a browser window, which means we want to start a window, because this app is technically running. When I go npm start, it was running. It just, there was nothing on fucking screen, right? Because we haven't told it to make anything. It's like when you start up Discord. You can actually start up Discord, and if Discord had no interface, it would still start up. It's still technically run, but you need to tell it what the interface is, right? Does that make sense? I'm going to stop for a second because I realize I've given a lot of information there. So I'm just going to stop for 1 second and just make sure that, is there any questions around what I've done here? Has it been confusing at all? I'm really vibing with this music, I gotta say. Okay, so the HTML is the interface that we will be using. Yeah, it'll be like, try to think of it as the GUI. And the main.js will open that file. Exactly right, Stig. Exactly right. So it's like, this is what's visually going to be shown on screen, all right? And this is what's going to run it. So it's like the main.js is like the main thread, all right? So when you think about a video game, you've got your thread, your single thread that kind of does all the stuff and gets stuff going. And like a Discord is a GUI running HTML. Exactly right. Or even Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code itself is literally built in Electron. Here's a fun fact. If you go to Visual Studio, oh hi Bid, how you doing? If you go to Visual Studio itself, right, or you go to GitHub, right? GitHub is owned by Microsoft, and Visual Studio Code is too. If you press the period key or the full stop key, right, inside any GitHub repo, what it does is it actually literally opens up Visual Studio Code in your browser. Our chatbot is gonna have a full fucking GUI, my boy. When you fire this app up, your little fucking nuts are gonna start quaking, buddy. All right. That's it. Yeah. So it's literally Visual Studio Code itself is Electron. We're using Electron to build Electron. It's all connected. I sound like a crazy person. Let's go. All right. So what we've done is we've said, right, I want to use app and I want to use browser window because we're using a browser window. All right. So we also want to define a function, right? That we can just like call from wherever. So I'm going to define a function. So const is a way to like say, I want this. I don't want to make too many of these and I don't want to edit this when I'm done. So const create window. And what I want to do is I want to make a function. Now, the way you make a function in JavaScript, there's tons of ways, but the way I like to do it is I just like to use lambdas. A lambda is basically I do 2 brackets and then I make an arrow. And that arrow, that arrow, and then I use curly brackets. And that kind of blocks it. That's like a block of work. So whenever create window is called, it's going to do this block of work. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to make a window. So I'm going to use, look, after saying I need this, I now have access to browser window. So now I'm making a new browser window, and you can do all sorts of shit with browser windows. But what I want to do right now, notice that autocomplete is doing all the work here. Width, I want the width to be, I don't know, 800 pixels. Who cares? And I want the height to be, I don't know, 600. Okay, so it's like a little thing, little call thing. Someone call exhibit. Exactly, call him. All right, and then that's all I need here. So, because we just put an Electron out in your Electron app, so you can open more Chromium threads and use extra memory. Hell yeah, baby. Yeah, I do recommend that if you are going to use this bot, I would recommend having a decent amount of RAM because it's, you know. Okay, win, and then load file. So what I'm doing here is I'm telling the window, which I've made one, and browser window can do all sorts of stuff. If you want to see what browser window can do, you can hold control and click it, and it actually tells you all the shit it can do. So you can pull stuff from ID, you can get web contents, you can get all the windows that are currently open, all the browser windows that are open. You can get all the focus windows, you can get all tabbed ones, blur, which is like when focus is off it. So if someone like, if you wanted to save processing, right? For on our bot, we might use a blur function. And what that would do is when someone, say, has their game open, it turns off the UI. The UI doesn't work. It's not running until it's on focus again. Okay? So this is a cool way to be like, I want to know what the fuck this thing does. I'm about to install it. I know what it does. I'm going to click a button on the knee as I don't see it. And that's basically what this is. It's like it's a very cool little function. Visual Studio Code is for the pros. Vim is for the super nerd pros. I do a bit of both. I'm more of a Visual Studio kind of nerd because I do a lot of multi-platform work, so I tend to just install a fuckload of plugins for this. Now, can anyone tell me what file I should load as part of my browser window? Come on. That face from VM. Yeah, that's what I use, the Vim bindings. Wait, control click does something else for you. Are you focusing on something? Are you focusing on are you looking at the actual thing itself? Oh shit, you may not have it downloaded. HTML. Okay, yes. That's right. Yeah, no, you're spot on, Stig. Good one. Index.html. Yeah, we want to get the HTML file. Fuck yeah. The reason why you probably don't have access to browser window yet, Stig, is because you checked out the package. No, you checked out the package earlier. So if you're not getting everything, you can actually type npm install, and it just makes sure that you have all the latest, you have all the packages already there. Because your node modules may not be there. You have to remember, it says to import. Oh, have you done this top bit? This top bit here. Because you may need that. You need to const Browser window, require Electron. Okay, that's weird. Have you saved your file? Make sure you save your file. Sometimes it doesn't really all go together unless you save. Anyway, look, we'll move forward. It still should run. It's probably just Visual Studio Code being a bit funny. That can happen. But more often than not, this shit does do its job. It works more than it doesn't. That's what I'll say about Visual Studio Code. It doesn't mean it always works. Okay. So we've used browser window, but we haven't used app for anything. Okay? Now we've defined what we're going to do, but we have to actually tell the app, okay, when you're ready to go, I need you to do something. So JavaScript has this thing called promises where they're like asynchronous actions. But it don't need to think about it, but the cool thing about app is that what we use app for is we want to make sure that when it's actually booted up, say when all the Windows processes and stuff are done, we could just use when ready. Now, inside when ready, you can do all sorts of shit, but we don't need to do that because there's a very cool thing you can do in JavaScript where you can go .then. So it's like, and then, and inside then you can add your own block. So just like up here where I do this little 2 brackets and an arrow, I do 2 brackets and an arrow, and I make my own little block of shit I'm going to do inside when ready. Okay? Now again, you don't need to add these semicolons. I just do because I'm a weird fucker. Note that I'm doing this outside create window. Okay? So create window is its own block, and then when ready. And inside when ready, I'm just going to do create window. And these 2 little parentheses basically say, hey, run that if it's a function. Okay? And don't mind me adding these, but I can't help myself. It doesn't do anything. The compiler doesn't give a shit. You can have these or not have these. JavaScript is really forgiving. Another reason why I picked JavaScript, super forgiving language. Super forgiving. I mean, it's forgiving until you want to do something very specific. Then it's a prick. So at this point, if I type npm start, look at that, baby. It shows up. So now we have what is a Windows application. So I'm going to go desktop so you can see. I move this around. It's a Windows application. I've got Windows. I've got, help and file and exit and edit, undo, redo, copy, paste. All this shit is here. Like, I'm going to get rid of it. But this is all like boilerplate Electron. See? So I have a very basic UI, which is currently rendering what index.html has. Now, it doesn't hot load it. Like if I make a change to index.html now, I go, it doesn't change it here. That's not how it works. It's not like a website. You need to like recompile it. It doesn't work for me. Could you do a push and I'll just pull it all in? No problem. No problem. I was actually going to push at this point anyway, because now I've got a basic app. Okay. So this is a good point to do a push anyway. But you can see where I'm at, right? Okay, so let's clear. Okay, and right. So let's import this shit. Let's commit this, because I think we've done enough work here to like really do it. So let's just recap. I made a git ignore where I removed the node modules. I've added an index.html which has basic UI. We have a main.js that all it does is start up a browser window, and that's all it does right now. Okay. We have package.lock, which just defines package.lock just defines what we've installed, and we have package.json, which we've made a start, and we've added Electron as a dev dependency. Okay, that's all we've done. So we now have a basic application to work with. Next step is adding features. Okay, commit to main, and I'm going to push that to origin. All right, now you may run into a merge conflict Stig, so just be careful there. Okay, so that's that downloaded, that's that pushed. So now we're far enough, and if I go onto the GitHub, When I get onto the GitHub, whoops. Okay, I get onto my GitHub and I go to Valbot. You'll see that it's a bit more fleshed out now. It even has some languages in the bottom right. It has HTML 69, nice, and JavaScript 30%, because the majority of it is just this file right now. Okay, so that's it. You'll notice that whatever commit that I've actually put it against, it actually says we now have a basic application where we're like, this is where these big things happen, you know. And I can actually go through all my commits. See, so this commit changed 5 files and earlier on, and yeah, it's nice because I can actually grab that specific commit and I can pull it down if I really fucked up, you know. Eventually, I'm gonna make a release. Hey, good evening. What is it that you're building? Hey, Jonesy Boy 90. I'm building an Electron app to do Twitch stuff. It's a small instructional coding stream. So, welcome. If you want to follow along, I actually regularly commit to this. You need Visual Studio Code and Node.js to run it. Anyway. So, welcome, Jonesy Boy. Welcome. So, moving forward into the void. Just picking up Vanilla.js, so stick around for sure. Excellent. Well, we're just getting started, really. Neat. Oh, thank you very much for the follow. I really appreciate that. This is my first ever coding stream, so I'm a little all over the place, to be honest. So, questions, just ask. I'm in no means what I call myself an expert. I am mediocre, I would say. No, not mediocre. Decent proficiency. In my job, I work with like iOS, Android, smart TV, stuff like that. So I just want to try a different application type, but to chill. I want to do something a bit different. But so far what we've built is, when I write npm start, we have a basic Electron app that starts up, and this is a Windows application. There we go, I got it to work now. Sweet. You've got a Windows app running on your computer stick. Holy shit, big man. Sorry, I'm really excited for you. This is where it gets really fucking cool, dude. This is where it gets really cool. All right. All right. Okay. Sorry. I'm excited. I'm excited for you because this is where it's going to get really good. I'll let you ravish me in the merge. Big man. All right. So our main JS, all we've done is we've told Electron where our index HTML is, and we told it load that shit. That's all we need. Okay. And then what that was just make a new browser window and load the file, and then when ready, create the window. Okay. So app is what tells Electron what to do, and create window, we made an instance of a browser window to tell it what to do here. Okay? All seems understandable enough. I don't think I have to go into it too much. So we bussin'. We move forward. Sorry, I got really excited there when you showed. Sorry, I actually have to apologize to all our new viewers. I am very sorry for that big outburst, but I'm so excited about when folks get in on it and they start doing it. It makes me so happy. So anyway, now we have to handle our window lifecycle. Okay, so you need to add a bit of boilerplate code to make it feel a bit more native. Now, right now, okay, we're only going to be focusing on Windows, but someday this thing could ship to a Mac app. You never know. All right? And if we're running a Mac app, the thing about Mac apps is that, or even actually Discord's a perfect example because Discord uses Electron as well. When I press the X key on Discord, it goes to the tray, right? It doesn't like, I mean, look, if I open up our Discord here, right? If I close that, it's not dead. It's in the tray. See? All right. It's just in the tray. Mac users stare. Exactly. But Mac, hey, some people stream off Mac. You never know. All right. Yeah. When you build a piece of software, you have to consider every potential user. Okay. Now, interesting thing about processes. All right. And when you build a process with Electron is that there's certain names that are around them. All right. And one thing, they're all, every process is given a particular name, right? So we basically want to find what that name is. Now I already know what the name is because I did a bit of research. So you're just gonna have to take my word for it. But if you were running this on a Mac, this would basically make it work more like a Mac, because when you press the X button on a Mac, right? In the Windows application, if I press the X button, right? Most Windows applications, if I press the X button, if I were to press the X button on this, it would close the whole application, right? That's normal Windows functionality. On a Mac, it flies down, it actually doesn't die, it just holds the instance until garbage collection, or can't remember, it's some sort of process handler kills it. It treats it more like a mobile phone, you know, like when it's dead, it's not really dead. You have to actually press a certain key command to actually kill an app. I think in Mac you have to press Command Q to really exit an app. It doesn't exit normally. So I want to replicate that functionality, because if someone was using ours on a Mac, use this application on a map on a Mac, it would look weird for them if it just died. So I'm going to quickly make that. All right. So on application on, all right. Now here's a cool thing, right? So sometimes you can use, all right, there's two kinds of events you have to think about with app, and you should look through them because there's loads in app. As I said, if you look through app, there's all sorts of shit you can do. Like you can check for browser views, but if I go to app, there's all sorts of callbacks to app that it can do. It can go on a particular event, and look at all these different events that happen, right? Tons of events. We got once, like if this one thing happens, then do it once. But then you've got all these other ones where you've got all these different events. Activity was continued, like there's shitloads of stuff in here, right? Before quit, after quit. You can do it before quit, where you do this like, the only Mac I like is the Big Mac. Let's be real here. Hey, now, don't forget about Super Macs, my dude. All right? But you can see here that it's got all sorts of different... don't forget, like you can do all sorts of shit. Like before quit, for example, is a good example, where you go like, oh, well, on before quit, if someone's going to quit out, you can go, hey, yo, hold on, events for JS, or where can we use this? I'll show you in a second. I'm just explaining that there's all these events that exist. All right? Bruh. Yeah, well, did you know they won a lawsuit against... Yeah, well, Badman, do you know they won a lawsuit against thing? Oh, yeah, I need to drink some water. Fuck. You can hear me getting hoarse. All right. So, like there's loads of different events that you can register to, and I'm just saying that that's there. So the way to find these events is you can go app.on, all right? And I can pick all sorts of events. And if I actually start this, you can find that autocomplete will find most of them. So certificate error, child process gone, GPU info update, GPU process crashed, open URL, quit. So open URL could be it opens it in the app or whatever. You know what I mean? So the listener is not in the GUI. It's a part of Electron. So Stig, so what this is like if something happens on the operating system side, right? You want to have something, you want to have a function ready, right? So you can have all sorts of stuff when the operating system does a specific thing. So render process gone would be like, oh, well, for some reason the GPU is not drawing this, and I want to have something in place for this. Or if there's actually, remember I told you about focus. If I go back here and it says browser window blur, which means it's no longer looked at. Well, in my case, because it's a chatbot app, I want it to be performant. So maybe on browser window blur, I delete the browser window, which means until I tab back into the application, there's nothing there, or it doesn't run any like GIFs or anything that would take away from like, you know, performance, because, you know, you want it to be performant. So for example, the GUI can make the iOS do something in theory. It doesn't go the other way around. It goes one way kind of with Electron. So the OS can say something and then the GUI, the OS can say something to the GUI, but the GUI can't say something to the OS because, as I said, this is a sandbox. It's safe. You could make it make a sound, but you couldn't, for example... Actually, no, you could. You can tap into certain things. It depends on what libraries you take advantage of. But you couldn't do too much. You couldn't do damage. Like, for example, you couldn't, with Electron app, it'd be very hard for you to like cross-site script, or no, not cross-site script. You could definitely cross-site script, but you'd have to have access to their fucking computer to do that. No, you could definitely do shit like you can make it play sounds. You can make it probably open up specific windows. You could fork bomb someone and just make it constantly open up browser windows. But you can write a file. You can actually, but you can't write it to System32. You could write it to, say, roaming. You could write a file. In fact, we're going to have to write a file at some point if we want to save settings. So I know that's possible because Discord writes files. And I know the Visual Studio, we write to a file. This is Electron. This writes to a file. So technically what I'm doing right now is using an Electron app to write to a file. So you can write a file, but it depends where you can put it. So I can't write a file and then save it to System32 maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. So you can write a file and then... you can write and file and then open that file asking for friend. Yeah, basically, it's fucking weird. Anyway, look, we wanted to do this. So we want to register against window all closed. Because, like I said, I want to duplicate what Macs do. And because this is an event, it's a kind of a funny format because the way it works is you've got an event, and then you see this listener function. See this thing that pops up here that told me it's a listener. This is an info bar. So I've subscribed to the event window all closed, and what I've done is I want to kick off another one of these functions. So we want to do 2 parentheses because we're now subbing in a function here, and what we're doing is we now have a block of work to work with, and I want to check my process in this case, right? So I'm going to go if process, which process is a normal thing, a part of just like node, right? Node you can ask for like, oh, what's going on? What is this? And I'm going to ask what platform this is running on. Okay? And if I know what platform this is running on, I don't want it to, if it's not running on a Mac, which funny enough, the code name for Mac so if you don't sub to a function, you can use a listener to close the app. Yeah, exactly. So if you don't... Wait. If you don't sub to a function, you can use that listener to close the app. Yeah, if you don't sub to... Yeah, well, it'll close all... It'll always have the boilerplate code. I think when you close the code, when you close all the windows, by default, it will kill all the processes, right? But I don't want it to kill all the processes when it's a Mac. So in this case, I'm just going to have an if statement. Now, for Node, looks at Macs and they call them Darwins. I don't know why. And then if it's not a Mac, we want to quit. So we're going to app quit. And what that does is it just quits out the application. So basically, that will kill the process. So that's what this code does. It just checks if window all closed, then unless it's a Mac, kill that shit. I don't want that process hanging around. All right. Because Mac users win the Darwin Award. But hell yeah. All right. Okay. Now. So I've subscribed to this event and I've overridden it, essentially. So up here now, I want to do something a little bit. So I want to modify my when ready, because here's another thing, right? We want to then check that when we're ready, when the application's ready, we want to only register when it's ready. We want to open up the last window that was on, because we don't want to kill all the processes. We just want to re-emerge it. So if it's on, if we've like put it away and put it back out, we want it to just keep the same process. We don't want it to spawn multiple processes, right? So we're going to do something inside here. So inside on ready, you can register for these things everywhere. So you can register outside and inside. It doesn't matter where you register. So I'm registered inside here. I'm going to register activate. Activate means it's just going to be when it's on the forefront, like when it's being put out front, okay? And I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm making another function, all right? And inside this function, I'm just going to check if browser window, because we need browser window. Browser window's up here, okay? And this is a static function. A static function means it doesn't need an instance. And we can do this thing called get all windows, okay? And what we're doing is we're just checking if is there any fucking browser windows currently going? Is there any processes currently going that's browser? All right? And if that's the case, all right? So we want to go if length 0, okay? If there's nothing, then create the window. Okay? So what this does is it creates the window, and if there's no window, because remember, create window will make it. So I'm just gonna make this a bit more easier to understand. So the if statements, I'm gonna put brackets around it. That's a little bit of syntactic sugar. You don't have to, if it's one line, you don't have to put a bracket around it, but you should put brackets around it. And remember, I'm gonna run format document just to make it a bit cleaner. And I've also noticed that I've used double quotes here when in JavaScript it should be single quotes. Fantastic. Okay, great. So activate, get all windows. So what that does essentially in this case is it just says, all right, when this activates, if there's no other windows running, create a window. Otherwise, don't do shit. And that's only if you've opened and closed it, right? The first time it opens, it'll always create a window. But then when it's ready, if activate ever happens, which is basically when it's been, pressed again on a Mac application, it'll only make one it'll only run create window again if there's no other instances going. Okay? So that's what I'm doing there. All right. So that's very cool and all. But remember when I added all this stuff? This Node version and this Chrome version, this Electron version? Well, we need to fucking start getting that on screen, right? Because if I go npm start, okay? It's all there. It's all kicking off. Fandabulous, right? It's still there. It's still working. No problem, right? And that kills the process when I get out because this is Windows, all right? I lost an actual day of work last week because the thing I was writing referred apostrophes to quotation marks. Yep. I've been there, mate. I have been there. It's fucking... This is why I try to follow the syntax perfectly. Me too. But this is why JavaScript's very forgiving that it doesn't. But I still feel like it treats single quotes better than it treats double quotes. That's why I always go back to them. There, close node modules. Get out of there. Right, so inside intex... right. Well, it's a different ASCII code. Bad man. Jason likes double quotes. I don't know. Fucking JavaScript's weird, man. It's a shit show. Anyway. So all I've done now is I've This is why I'm glad in my full-time job I don't use it that much. I really hope this coding stream's going okay for you. I'm having fun. I'm getting to explain shit. It's fun. Anyway, so recap. We've created a window. We've done all the Mac support in case we use Mac, which is great. In our Intel, so what we're doing next is we're going to move into the index.html and we're going to make sure a Node version, Chrome version, and Electron version show up. Okay? That's what we're going to work on. So we could do this a bunch of ways, but there's a really cool way to kind of inject code and to like modify code from JavaScript. And it's first things first, we don't want it to like update after the fact, right? So like if we set this up, right? I'm just going to clear this. And I do npm start, okay? We don't want it to like after the fact update this. It's very educational. I'm glad to hear it, Jonesy. We don't want it after the fact to update this. We kind of want it to load. We want it to load ahead of time, right? We want to know what this stuff is. So we're going to make a new file called preload.js. Now, look, everything that I'm doing here is part of the Electron playbook. I'm not doing anything special, but I'm explaining what they're explaining to me because I want to go through it first. And then once I've gone through it first this way, literally you can find this on like the quick start or something for Electron. I'm not like, this is not me coming up with this off the top of my head. Like I'm using a guide, and by that guide then I'm also going to be able to modify it. So once we get to a point where our Electron app's all set up, then we move on to doing like really cool stuff. But I'm just being, full disclosure. This is me following, the playbook of making an Electron app. I've done this before, and I want to make sure this works before we do anything with Twitch. So anyway, so in preload, this is just going to use Node commands. Now, Node has a bunch of stuff that already is pre-built in, which is why I asked you to install Node, one of which is window. Window, we can register for certain events. So just like app in Maiden.js, which is kind of its own event listener that listens to this, Node has its own events as well. Okay? And we can do all sorts of stuff. We can do Node and we can go add event listener. Okay? And there's fucking tons of these keys. But you can see that all these keys exist. There's tons of them. Blur, can play through, change, click, compose. There are literally hundreds of things you can listen for. But what we're paying attention to is DOM content loaded. And what that is... In school, copying answers on the internet is cheating and plagiarism. In real life, it's one thing keeping you employed. Not me. No, I use the basic guide and then I build on top of it. But yeah, totally. No, I'm kidding. I am an absolute plagiarist. What can I say? So DOM content loaded is basically when this content is ready to be accessed, start doing shit. Because if you try to do it ahead of time, it won't know what these IDs are. So it's kind of like right after these are ready, you want to do this bit. Okay? You like right after these IDs have come in but haven't rendered on screen, you want to then say, okay, everything shit's loaded. Okay, what's going on? So const replace text, and this is going to be a bit more JavaScripty, but I'm going to do something a bit fancy. Actually, I don't have to do anything particularly fancy. So yeah, I'm not going to do anything particularly fancy in this case. Let's just do it like real simple. Okay. So we want to get three selectors out. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to go, let's see, we can do this kind of the quick and dirty way, or do you want to do it like kind of a fancy coding way? Actually, do you know what? We'll do it a quick and dirty way and then we'll refine it. That's the best way to code anything. So first things, we're going to go let node element okay, is equal to document dot get element by ID, and you tenor bets, or these IDs are what we're looking for, right? So we want to do get element by ID, node version, okay? All right, and then if node element, if that actually exists, all right, because we now have to check if it exists. Every time you do anything, you check if it exists first. And we want to just go inner HTML equals, and remember when we asked process for something else? Okay? Remember when we asked process for like, oh, well, we asked it for what operating system is going on. Well, this one, we want to go process.versions, and we want to get the version for Node. Okay? And let's just try that out, just on its own. npm start. Okay? Oh, that didn't work. Why didn't it work? Get element ID. I think that's wrong. It's inner text. Yeah, not inner HTML. Inner HTML would mean I'd have to wrap that in something. Inner text is all I need because it's a span. My bad. Okay. npm start. And then, oh no, that didn't work either. Wonder if it didn't get that. Let's just format the document real quick. So this is where shit kind of gets. This is why we do it we do it quick and dirty to figure out where we went wrong first. Node version, dependency versions, node, process versions. Get element by ID. So document is just asking the document. That's another node thing to like, well, it's more like a standard JavaScript thing. So node span ID, node version. Ah, right. I'm an idiot. Okay, right. The reason why this isn't working, because where have we preloaded it? This is exactly the same problem that we ran into with index.html in the first place. It's the main thread. The main thread has to tell it where to fucking load. It has no idea the preload exists right now. Thoroughly. Okay, so I gotta tell it where to load. Now, the nice thing about JavaScript or about having a browser window is you've got stuff to do. Like you've got web preferences. So inside the browser window, I'm gonna add another thing, and I'm actually gonna say, hey, preload this shit, will you? Now, we need to preload the preload.js, okay? Now, here's the thing about preload.js. In this case, it might work. It might work. I'm not sure it will though, because it might work in this case. It might work when I have my code. But the problem is, if you look down here, there's an error message that says it needs an absolute path, because it needs to be absolutely sure. Because it's an interpreted language, it needs to be absolutely sure it has everything it needs and exact paths to it. This is me saying relative to you, it's here. Relative means that, like, okay, when I say this, I mean it should be on the same. When I say preload.js, the computer should think, okay, this is in the same file as me. But what if preload.js isn't in the same file as me? In this case, it is. Load file seems to get it, but in this case, because web preferences could be bundled up into a browser, it's not sure that it's in the same file. In fact, it's fucking terrified it isn't, and it won't let me. It'll just fuck up. So I'm going to press Control C and terminate the process. All right, because that's just not going to go anywhere. There's no Electron running right now. Okay, and then what I'm going to do then is I'm going to say, okay, well, that means I need to tell it, okay, what directory am I in? So there's a very cool function, a very cool system called path. And path is another lovely function from Node. And path, what it does is just allows you to write a path or allows you to find a directory, right? And you don't even really need to know all the work. You don't need to really know how it works entirely, but you can use this thing called path.join. And all it does is it joins a bunch of things together. It joins like a bunch of things together. So irrespective of the operating system, it will eventually put it all together in the right way. So why am I saying that? Well, in Mac OS X, okay, you have like users val code, and then Valbot would be there, right? That's how it would be put together. But in Windows, it's like this. So it's a totally different format, right? What Path does is it basically figures out, because Node knows that you're on Darwin or you're not on Darwin or you're all this other stuff, it knows exactly how to format the path. So I could very easily just put in an absolute path straight from G. I could probably put in that or whatever the hell I want, and it would work in this specific case. But if I'm not here or I'm not using the app in this specific case, it fucks it up. So I can't use that. But thanks to Node, I can just go, okay, well, path, and I can just go whatever my current directory name, which is __ dir name. Okay? __ dir name. I don't need a semicolon. I realized that if I put a semicolon in here, it terminates it too fast, so don't do that. This is where I get in trouble, because I write lots of C++ and C# and Objective-C and that stuff, and I always fuck myself up because I end up writing JavaScript like that, and I shouldn't. If only we lived in a better world and C++ was accepted everywhere. But oh well, it's not. Anyway, so what I've done here, so now I'm preloading, which is great. So if I go, let me start that off, and if I go npm start. Oh, let me load. Can you see that? I'll zoom it in a little. Can I zoom it in? View. Yeah, zoom in. Give me in a bit more. Give me in a bit more. Look at that. So it's preloaded 16.13.0. You see? Is there any questions where we are now? Have I flown on too far, or do we feel okay, or is it? Yeah, I realize that this is my first coding stream, so I could be dumping too much or too little, or I could be, yeah, just saying, like, we haven't even gotten to the Twitch part. And we're 2.5 hours in. Like, coding takes a long time. Like, this, it is what it is. Like, you know, I want to make sure I explain where I've gotten, how I've gotten here, so it takes time. We're all good? I'm going to take that silence as an absolute yes. I hope it is. If there's any like confusion, remember, I have a Discord. It's the links below. You know, feel free to join it. And I answer questions on the Discord as well. I don't always because I have to work, but like, you know, it's there. It is there. Gucci for me, but I've done this stuff before. Fair. Okay, so look, I want to get as far as doing like a Twitch, like a basic Twitch thing. The music is nice, isn't it? It's Lo-Fi Girl. You can find it on YouTube. They allow streamers to use them, but you have to shout them out if you do. So we've preloaded. We know it loads. So our preload JS is a bit fucking basic. We could make this better. I mean, look. The quick and dirty way would be to copy and paste all of this, but what if we did something a bit more like, I don't know. Should we refine it, or should we move on? Because I feel like I want to get to the... before the stream is over... Yeah, they do love their 7 chords. before I kind of feel like we have our node version. I think I might just do the quick and dirty version of this for now. And then do the quick and dirty version of this for now, and then I might refine this later on. Okay? So I'm just going to do electron version. Actually, can I just go element? I just override this as I go? Yeah, I don't have to. Let's save some memory. Oh no, element, yeah, just make it that. Does that work? I think that works. Yeah, because I just have to override it as I go, it's fine. So let is just saying, let this exist, but don't, you know, don't be too nice to it. And then, what's the last one? Chrome version, because we're using a version of Chromium. Okay, let's just try that. So all I've done is copy to paste the one thing, and I'm just overriding element as I go through. So I wonder what this does. There we go. Okay, so we know that Node.js is loaded, Electron is loaded, and we have Chromium. Fan-fucking-tastic. Hell yeah, we are on it. Okay, right. So we've done enough here. I feel like this is worth a commit. This is worth a commit. Now, obviously, there's a much better way of doing this. I would love to do it a bit better, but look, we're just going to commit what we have. So added preload and altered main for Darwin CPUs. Cool. Boom. Boom. Big shock. Magic. Okay, so Valbot is now able to kick off. It's able to run. That's awesome. Okay, so now that we've committed some stuff, why don't we get on to doing a little bit more fancy things? Okay? Okay, so we want to do a bit more fancy things. Okay, so another thing we want to build, and this is just a placeholder, we're not going to use it, but I'm just going to make a renderer.js. Because as part of Electron, there's always a renderer. And this just is for doing some small JS GUI changes, right? We don't actually use this right now. We're not going to use this right now, but I know I'm going to need it. And the renderer is a little bit different. Okay, it's the black sheep. Fucking go. Sorry, I'm getting used to this keyboard. The render is a little bit different. It's a little bit different in the fact that we're not going to be using it. We're not going to be kicking it off from main. The difference between the renderer and main is renderer is actually kicked off from the JavaScript layer. Sorry, from the HTML layer. So I think it's outside the. I can't remember where I'm supposed to put this. Yeah, I think it's right after body, because we want it at the very end. So right after body, okay, in the HTML, I'm going to add a script. This is kind of how you're probably used to doing JavaScript if you do it. And I'm just going to add /, and you can see it's auto-completed to render.js script. Okay, and I don't need to add anything, but I might add defer. What defer does is exactly what preload does. Preload checks if the DOM content's loaded. Defer is exactly the same job. It basically goes, hey, when all the shit's loaded, then run this. Don't defer this until it's done, okay? Don't run this at the start, because there may be IDs there that you don't want. And just to verify that this works, that the renderer does what it's supposed to, why don't we add, just for the crack, we'll add a H1, and we'll give it an ID. And the ID is just going to be, I don't know, test render. Okay? And out of test render, all we're going to do is go into the renderer, and we'll do the same thing. We'll go document.get element by ID. test render. Is it test render? Just make sure. Test render, cool. And we're just gonna go. Okay, cool. Oh, that's a constant. We need to assign that. So const renderer. HTML test equals. Okay, that. So we've set that, and then from HTML test, when you go set text. Oh, HTML test. Oh wait, first things first. If HTML test, always check if it exists first, because you'll get fucked otherwise. Set attribute. What was it? Inner text. That's it. Inner text equals, and I'm just gonna go bustin' makes me feel good. Fantastic. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to npm start. And what this should do is show bustin' makes me feel good. So we know that the renderer is working, and we know that the renderer is working from the script. So which means that's great. Okay, so that means we've got everything we need to work with now. We've got a renderer thread, which will do the GUI thread, which will do the GUI work, which means all of this, all the JavaScript here is going to basically take care of whatever we need to put on screen, and main is going to take care of anything that needs to talk to the operating system. Okay? So, and preload is just going to be, before we load the browser, we might do a couple of things as well. So, if we talk about life cycles, right? And I'm going to use the README to kind of JS lifecycle. Okay? If we talk about the lifecycle, it goes main.js preload.js. Okay? Main.js preload.js HTML index.html, and then finally it runs renderer.js. Though that's the execution cycle. So if you set up something, main will run it first, preload will run before it runs the index.html, then it runs the renderer. Except all the content will be kind of loaded before preload runs, but still technically runs before index.html, I think, like by like a fucking nanosecond. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's the load. Let me load. All right. I hope all of this makes sense, because I'm not repeating myself. I am. I repeat myself a million times. All right, so I'm actually going to be really saucy and just commit what I got. Might take the busting out of it. Okay. Render layer is working. Cool. Right. Cool. So added renderer. Added renderer for GUI. Okay, cool. So GUI means graphical user interface, by the way. Are we following along okay? Because what's coming next is where we start talking about Twitch. Twitch. Hell yeah, we're doing Twitch now. So, how long we got? It's 10:30. All right, I've got another like hour and a half in me. So by the end of this, I want to be doing basic commands. As I said, we're not going to get a lot done. We're not going to get a lot done today. That's okay. That's normal. I'm going to format the document real quick though. So my preload is real fucking simple. Yes sir, bussing does make you feel good. It's true. Is it running for you, Stig? I called you out, sir. Excited. Okay, so here comes the next part. big if true. Alright, so here comes the next part. So what we have now is we have a super basic app. It's still there. Valbot's there. It's a super basic Electron app. It has all the trimmings that you need just to do Electron. It actually has nothing else, right, to do with Twitch or anything like that. Not yet. Okay? That comes next. So what we want to do next is we want to actually like make this a bit more, you know, to use Twitch, I guess. So sorry about your eyes there. But we want to use the Twitch. We want to use Twitch developers to basically we want to use Twitch developers as a website to kind of get an understanding of like how the API works. Now I'm not going to go too far into it because ultimately we're going to end up using something called TMI. TMI.js is basically what you need to do very basic stuff, like to get started. Okay, like it seems like it's a Node.js or a browser, right? It just allows us to kind of like, it's a Node.js integration that allows you to like do stuff with Twitch. Okay, so I don't even have to do too much here, but it means, right, we go back to here and we go back to npm and we go npm install. We don't have to do save dev this case. We could just do install, and I think it's install. Oh, npm I, isn't it? Npm I. I can write install. I can do it. tmi.js. And that's it. Let that install. We check our package.json. Package.json's checked, and we now have tmi.js in our dependencies. Now, it doesn't matter. I can put that into dev dependencies or dependencies. In this case, I always put it into dependencies because this one's very obviously for, you know, if I were to make this a package, it would need tmi.js. That's like obvious. Electron, not so much. I could still get away with not needing Electron for this app because this index.html and this main.js still could technically work as a Node app. I'm not sure, but I think I'd get away with it. Maybe not with all this app shit. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Don't think about it. So anyway, we now have tmi.js. So where do we kick this off? Like where do we start this? Because right now we have, you know, we need to start. We need to start it up. Now, I'm gonna ask chat if we had to run something that would run network activity. And it would run network activity, and it kind of has to talk to the OS a little bit. Which JavaScript file would we run it in? I'm going to close all the other stuff because we don't need to have them open right now. Out of these three, which one should we run this in? Renderer, preload, or main.js? Now remember, this has to constantly run. Which one would be the best one to run in? Try my best not to derail it. Tipsy Foxbot. Hello, Tipsy Foxbot. How you doing? You just joined at the best time because we've just built the app. First things first. Badman Rusky is absolutely correct. It is in main. No, it's in main. You're straight off. You are correct. Main should be. It can be its own file, and maybe we might refactor and make it our own file. Bedtime for me now. Hope to catch the stream later soon, brother. Thank you so much, Jonesy. If you can't catch the stream, if you can't get, I do this every Thursday. Well, I'm going to be doing this every Thursday since I've really enjoyed it so far. Until I have something better built. And if you can't, I do upload everything to YouTube, and there's a GitHub, and there's a Discord. I think it's going well, Foxbot. I'm having fun. I'm all right. So let's crack on because I want to get to the point where we're doing little bot stuff. All right. So here's what happens next. Let me quickly check something real quick first. All right. Yeah, good. You may be approaching the Bomber Peak. Perfect. We'll tune in again next Thursday. Good night, all. Good night, Jonesy boy. Take care of yourself. Lovely to see Jonesy there. Right. Anyway, so let's use TMI. So TMI has a very basic thing to get started, and honestly, we could just grab it. But we see this one's super basic, right? This one just says hello. So this will print out a console.log. So we can get started with that. But first things, that means we need to import TMI. So you've seen me import stuff, right? So I'm not gonna go over what importing is anymore. I think you know what I'm gonna do with reports. So tmi.js. Cool. So we've imported TMI now. So which means we can now run commands against TMI. I'm actually gonna make a little part down at the bottom here, just for like Twitch part, right? I'm gonna put a comment. All right. And down here is where I'm going to do, this is the dungeon. This is where TMI client, I could do all sorts of shit here, right? So I've got loads of stuff here to work with. I'm going to put it up here and I'm going to slowly type through it. Oops. Get back on that. All right. So we want to make, obviously, the way all networking works is you make a client and then there's a server, right? Clearly, our chatbot is going to be a client, okay? You've got your clients that like talk to the server and get information back, and then you've got your servers that dish out information when it's given a certain API command. On this particular case, we are clearly making a client, so we want to make a client connection. So if we go const client equals new dot TMI client, whoops, uppercase client, because it's an object. Okay. Whoops, const client. There we go. All right. And we want to go channels, because we can actually connect to multiple channels. It's a bot. We can go on multiple ones, but we're just going to connect to mine. Okay. And what we'll do is client.connect. Okay, so we're going to connect. And then when the client, we want it is just like all the other stuff. Just like app on, just like when ready, all that other stuff, we're going to register for an event because it's JavaScript. So we can register for an event. So we can go client on and we go, okay, well, on a message. Oh, look at that. Auto completed to message. Cool. So on message. And we want to go, okay, on message on the right channel. Whoops. On the right channel. We want to get tags. We want to get the message itself. And we want to get an instance of what we are. Okay? And we're basically, again, we're listening out for this stuff. Okay? So on message, and then we go console.log. I'm just going to use console.log. Now, if you don't know what console.log is, it's just a simple way for JavaScript to like print something out. Okay? So, I'm also going to show you this. So this is just above the tab, top left-hand side. This is like a back tilde kind of thing. It's a way for me to do shit like this, where I can go exclamation mark tags. Dash. Actually, no, fuck that. This is, look, I'm going to make it a bit more easy to understand. This is wrong. I'm going to do it a bit easier. I'm going to go, okay, well, we want var display name. And we want that to be tags. I think display name comes out of that. Because I think display name comes out of that. Let's double check that. But I think if I go into tags. Yeah, that doesn't autocomplete. Oh, fuck it. Who cares? All right. Tags display name. Okay. And then we also want to get var message. Actually, message is just there. So if I just go, okay, display name plus space, one of these, and then plus message. Okay? And what that should do is it should basically, if any of you type a message when this is running, I should see into the log, debug console, or in, I can open up the developer tools. I can look at the console. And if I go, that should connect. I should start seeing it somewhere. Yeah, there's the console. BB. Now's your chance to be on blast. All right. So anything you type in chat right now will show up on my terminal. Unfiltered, because I have nothing put in place at the moment. This is Joe Biden. Ah, shit, he found me. He's calling it in. He's calling it in this time. Fantastic. All right. Call him in. Fucking call him in. So I'm going to kill that process. Yeah, terminate it. Done. So I got a SIGINT. Hey, yo. So, cool. So we know that this will connect, but this is just going to listen. So that's very cool and all. If I wanted to build a chatbot that only did shit to me every time something happened in the chat, right? This would be all the code I need. I can just then check if message, I don't know, if message is equal to something like, I don't know, Foxplot, then it would make it, you know, I can make it do things, okay? Which is fine. Yeah, that's cool and all, but you want the Verdian bot to do something back, right? In this case, maybe you don't, maybe you do. I don't know. It's up to you. So, this is all the code you need. That on a message, I can add a full function here. Add a full function to just do stuff on listening to this. All this is done. Yeah, I need a dict or something with responses. Yeah. You can totally just load it. That's where the JSON's going to come in. So I'm going to make a JSON file and I'm just going to fill it full of nonsense. And I can make it do that all I want. Yeah, that's great. Or I'm going to save a JSON file. But for now, this is cool. But I think I want mine to like say something back or do something back, right? So there's another side to TMI where you can actually authenticate yourself. So what'd you call me? A dict. Dictionary. So what if we did something that's a bit more, I don't know, like a chatbot? So we've done this part where we've gotten the channels, okay? So we can listen to channels, but the client can actually take more stuff. We can actually have an options. We can add options, all right? And one of the things we can do, options, all of these are always debug, true. Okay, so I'm just gonna have the debugger on so I can see what's going on. And I can add identity, okay? Now, here's where it gets tricky. Okay? I need to get a username, which is pretty easy. That's Verdian bot. Okay? And then I need to get a password. And clearly, on stream, I don't want to type a fucking password. Okay? Clearly, that would be a bad move for me. Okay? So, how does one get a password? If you're still following along, there actually is a way to generate an OAuth password from Twitch. Okay? And I'm going to just... No. As it has to be my literal OAuth password to sign into Twitch. So it has to be literally, if you had that OAuth, you could write bots to make my computer do really bad things if it was ever turned on. Or you could just leave it running on a server and fuck me up. So basically, and I'm not going to share this always red 1 2 3. How did you know? I'm going to share this and muted in the Discord. Okay. I'm also going to share the. I'm also going to put it into the README. In order. Okay. Generating an OAuth password for your JSON. You can use the following link. I'm just gonna make this pretty. This is just a piece of like thing to generate an OAuth, a token password, which you can then sub into password. Okay, so do bad things like echo always blue. Can't ban me, I'm a mod. Yeah, that's it. Like, VerdianBot is a bot, so he would like he would fuck me up. So, I don't want to show my token on stream. So, here's how I'm going to do it. Okay, I'm actually going to use a piece of JSON. So, I'm going to use it. I'm going to call it Twitch auth. I'm going to make a sample first. Twitch auth sample. Okay. How do I get running the application on Twitch? 1. Rename the Twitch auth sample JSON file to Twitch auth and fill in your own details. 2. Off with npm start. Okay. Is this JWT or something? What's JWT? So Twitch auth sample. So what do I need inside? What do I need inside the JSON? Well, I need my name. JSON web token. No, I'm going to be even simpler than this. I'm going to be really simple with this. A name. I need password. And I'm going to need channel. Because I'm actually going to do it like in a really, you know, I think that should be username actually, shouldn't it? Username, password, channel. Now, I recommend making a bot for this. Don't use your own fucking channel or else you'll be randomly spamming someone else with yourself, which is, you know, not good. Don't do that. If you have a bot or if you've made an alt account, go with that. So this username, password, channel, I know I'm just going to this and I'm going to check something very quickly. Because I've actually saved these path board. Oh, wait, I changed this to Twitch auth. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to can I open this with something else? I don't want to open this with code. Open with, here we go. Other options. Oh my god. Yee. Motherfucker. I didn't. Hang on. Alright, I'm going to make sure that this doesn't. I'm going to need a second. I'm just going to need a second. I need to not show this. Okay. Chat. Okay. Twitch auth sample. Twitch auth sample. Okay. So okay. So I'm just gonna do Twitch auth dot JSON. I'm going to copy that in. Okay. And then twitch auth dot JSON is going to never be seen. Okay. Cool. Right. So back at it. So my auth sample's there. My Twitch auth obviously is there. I'm not going to click into Twitch auth. It's where my actual authentication is. So now back at this, I need to find a way to import. You know, I need to import this, right? So I need to get cons fs. Now I did this before, and I'm going to figure it. I need to remember how to do this, because I did this before. This is what I was going through the last time. Okay. How's everyone doing though? How's everyone following along? Is it okay? Is this? Okay. Tell you next week. Okay, cool. FS. Okay. FS require. So what we're loading in now is we're loading in this Twitch auth.json. Obviously, I need to edit my git ignore, and I'm just going to edit to have Twitch auth.json ignored. Okay, so what that should do is, and I'm going to double check this, GitHub desktop. Okay, yeah, so Twitch auth isn't in there, which is great. Okay, so that way I'm not accidentally committing my stuff up, which is exactly what I'd like to do. Fantastic. Okay, great. So now that I have that ready to go, I need to modify this to actually read the JSON file. Okay, so first things first, I need to call in file system, which is basically a thing called FS. FS is I'm gonna import it. File system is basically a way to read certain files or get raw data out of certain files. So I'm going to do that, and then I obviously have to read that raw data. Okay, so raw data equals, and then fs read files. I'm going to read the file, which you can read a file asynchronously or synchronously. I want it to be read quickly, and I know it's really small, so I'm going to do it synchronously. If you had a massive file to read, like a fucking incredibly large file to read, you do it asynchronously, because then it goes on another thread, but like no point. And then in this case, we want to go Twitch. What, we're pulling from Twitch auth. Remember, I'm telling people to read it from Twitch auth. Now, that's cool. It does a lot of that. So Twitch auth sample, I'm just going to use it as username, password, channel. Okay? Magic. Okay? So what we want to do then is we want to go Twitch auth.json. I just want to mark something real tip, because we're 3 hours into the stream, so I just want to mark something down, how far we've gotten. Okay, cool. So we got Twitch auth.json. So from Twitch auth, we now need to convert this. We need to parse it. Now, Node is kind of cool in the fact that you can actually, we want all the Twitch auth stuff, right? So we just go Twitch auth, and then we can actually just go raw data. We can go JSON, because JSON's a part of Node, and we can just parse the raw data. Okay? Now, do you want me to recap that? So basically what I've done is I've imported file system, which will take the Twitch auth. Now, obviously I'm clicking sample, not my Twitch auth here, okay? And then from Twitch auth, I'm reading I'm reading it as raw data, which is just basic zeros and ones and whatever, because it doesn't know what it is. Like super basic file. And then I've said, no, this is a JSON file. I know it's a JSON file. So turn this into a JSON object that I can mess with. Now the cool thing about JavaScript is that these become like variables that I can just pluck out now, which is cool. So inside main now, if I go down here, is that what you're specific with, or are you one misclick? Yeah, I'm one misclick away from a docs. That's why I have to be very careful. Not a docs per se, actually. It's access to my Twitch bot. So now I can go down here. I can go Twitch auth dot username, Twitch auth dot password. See? And finally, I can do Twitch auth dot channel. So what I've done is I've just basically saved this as external stuff. Now, when we go on to doing the GUI, all right, when we go on to using the GUI, the best part is that we can actually, the really cool part is that we can actually, with this stuff, we can, excuse me, with this stuff, we can save this JSON using like a file writer. And then with that file writer, then we can save it to a local file from like changes we've done inside the GUI. So inside this HTML, we can make like a form that someone can fill in, and then when they press start, then it will save it to a JSON file, and then main.js will kick off, like we'll read the file and start off auth. So we can do that later, but I'm just kind of like, I'm trying to give you an example of what the kind of shit you can do, you know? Okay, so that's very cool and all, but that's nothing. Now we want to do actual commands. So we've connected it. So actually, why did I remove that? Client on, okay? The cool thing in client, once you've authenticated, you can do even more stuff, all right? So first things first, if self, all right, then return. What this means is this self check is a boolean to say, like, if you've typed this yourself, don't do anything. Just return just like nah, fuck this, I'm done. I'm not working with this. Like I'll just finish it out. Now, the cool thing about JavaScript is a bit of syntactic sugar, that if it's one thing, you can just put it all in the one line. So you can just do that. If self return. So basically this top command will be like, if this is true, if self is itself. That's so confusing. If it's myself typing, as in not Valverdian, but if it's TwitchBot, it returns nudes. Exactly, Foxbot. No. So now I can do shit like this. If message, and I put everything to lowercase. The reason why is because otherwise, like, you'll have to parse for uppercase or lowercase. I'm like, nah, just every message that comes in, take all the characters off it, make it lowercase, and I'm just gonna do a quick like hello check. So if I go client dot, now the client means I can, because I've authenticated, I can say shit now. So say to the following channel, and I'm gonna use these. Say to the following channel, and let's just see, var tags. Tags. Hang on. Tags. Yeah, actually, let's do a let, and we'll just call this user message, right? Or message user. Yeah, message user equals, and we'll just call this tags. And remember, we had this already. We were able to call tags.username, I think, like that, because we know. Actually, do we even need to do that? We can just do tags. Can I do this? At username. Yeah, I can do this. Okay. Plus. Yeah, and I can go sup. Yeah, I think that'll at you. I don't know, let's find out. If, what's this if statement complaining about? Expression expected. If message in lowercase is not equal to hello. Oh, to locale lowercase. No, fuck that. To lowercase. Yeah. First off, that's to lowercase. Why did I do locale lowercase? If. Why is that if statement complaining? Say. To the channel, say this. That looks right. Hang on. Format this. Formatting always helps. If message. 3 equal signs. Yeah, you can do 3 equal signs. Why is that complaining? So 3 equal signs will try to parse the object into what it should be, I think. Oh, this. Oh, fucking idiot. I left that floating up there. 3 equal signs basically says like, okay, if I put 2 equal signs, then it has to be the same object. I have to have parsed that. If I put, whoops. I think that's what it means. I can't remember now. What does 3 equal signs mean? Shit. Hold on. 3 equals sign JavaScript. We're going to find this shit out. Triple equals is a strict equality comparison operator which returns false if the values are not of a similar type. Ah, okay. So if I put in, right, to lowercase, and if this was a number, then it was like, okay, well, that's not even fucking in the ballpark, my dude. Very strict, I should think. Yeah, it is quite strict. Okay, so let's try this. npm start. So, who wants to do the honors? Exclamation mark, hello. This could fucking break my computer. I don't know. There it is. Sup yourself. There you go. Verdian bot lives. That's very cool. I'm happy with that now. You fucking dicked. I like Tipsy Fox a lot. He's a pretty cool guy. Doesn't afraid of anything. Note that this is still infoing all the way down here. Yeah, note that, look, down here is still infoing. Note that my code channel, by the way, shows a bunch of different, like, things. But yeah, okay. I think this is worth committing to GitHub. It is! Try exclamation mark hello. Flying bento. Life moves at you fast, doesn't it? Okay. Edit basic auth and instructions. Doesn't... Okay, I'm just saying doesn't do much yet. Hi, Bodybot. Okay, all of that is committed to the GitHub. That's super basic. It doesn't do anything yet. Pasture is not supported. GL supported. Angle is. GPU. Interesting. Alright, is that still running? Yeah, so... Oh, you son of a bitch. Interesting. Is that broken? Yeah, it doesn't do. All right, let's fix that. No substring then. Okay, we have two lowercase dot contains. Right, so I haven't done this before. String contains. Yeah. All right, so if I go dot. I haven't done this before. What the fuck this contains? Whoops. Why is that complaining? Oh. All right, let's try that. Kills app. Start it up again. Let's go, baby. Okay, let's see. Oh, I crashed it. Hey, error. Contains not defined. Contains not defined. Add to as anonymous event emitter. Blah 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 blah. Oh, okay, right. So it doesn't know what contains is. Interesting. Okay. Yo. Hey yo. Okay, so contains is wrong. Let's see. JavaScript string contains substring. Do you know what? I mixed it up. String includes. Ah. Aha. Okay, so I go dot includes dot. I could very easily make these commands. Includes. All right, string message to lowercase dot includes. Let's try that. Fuck it. Let's go. Did I save that? All right, this time. Yeah, there we go. You quivering coward. All right, okay. There we go. That's a bit more robust. So what I've done there is I've just so dot include. So these are the little syntactic things I don't really know about JavaScript and I'm still learning. So I may be looking up stuff a lot, but I'm figuring it out. Is all of this easy enough to follow so far? So this is all the Twitch bot is, really. Like on its own, this is it. I make a TMI client, I identify, I connect, and then I check the messages. It's actually very straightforward. There's very little I like. The complicated stuff is when I get into actually like refreshing my tokens. I need to make sure my shit's token. Looking up stuff but figuring it out should be my thesis title. I mean, that's everyone's thesis title. Why are you being so mean to my bestie? But why not though? It's a robot. Roberts have no feelings. They do though. Message dot. Okay, so right, this is fucking cool and all, but I feel like we need to go a bit further. He's don't mind him. Don't mind him, Bento. He's quoting Mordhau. He's good. All right, we could. Why don't we finish this up with a bit of fun? Because all right, I have put no guards, no cooldowns, absolutely nothing. All right, absolutely nothing around this because I haven't coded the bot to be better than that. So, what if right? And this. Oh shit! Did I just close my? I closed my music. God damn it! Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Jesus. My humblest apologies. Okay. Unkempt. Unclean. and unworthy of existing. Just, I mean, the bot, it's trying, all right? So I probably clean that up a little bit, but, Right. So severe. Very severe. He's a severe guy. I'm not used to... He's just... Shut up, Foxbot, will you? Frosty. You frosty cowlier. Alright. So it doesn't do much. But I wanted to do something. I have an idea. Just for a bit of fun, because we're gonna finish up in a minute. Alright. So I have a lot of sounds. Okay? And I want it to be a nice short sound. Okay? And I want it to be a short sound because we're gonna try to import a sound in. So maybe yes.
Yes.
Just eider duck. It's too long. It's too long, Foxplot. Like, it's too long. We want it to be shorter. We want it to be shorter.
Bruh.
Short one.
Have at them, boys!
That could be the one. Or the AoE unit. I don't know.
Yes.
Yes is pretty good. Thick. Oh yeah, thick. Hang on, where's thick? This one?
But I'm dummy thick.
Wololo. Do wololo.
Wololo.
Okay, right. Wololo it is. So, I'm going to commit what I have now. Okay. Check if a message contains the command. Okay, so that's cool, right? That's much better. Okay, so now that we're this far, we're going to get Wololo. Where's Wololo? We're gonna get Wololo. I'm just gonna drag it in here for now. Okay. Right. Now, obviously, we want to do this a bit better. When we're working on it in future, we are going to do a bit better. Okay. Let us close GitHub Desktop. And what we're going to do now is we're going to figure out how to play sounds. Now, I've done a little bit of research around this one. Okay. Because I knew it was going to be a bit tricky. So I actually did a bit of research and I found that on NPM there's a very good library called SoundPlay. So I'm going to use SoundPlay because it just plays a directory, and it also allows me to play files from directories and stuff like that. Like, it uses relative paths or non-relative paths. It just seems to be just kind of like straightforward. So I'm like, this is beautiful. Chef's kiss. That's it. Okay, so SoundPlay. So I'm gonna download SoundPlay. So what I need to do SoundPlay is I need to just use npm again. So if I go down here, I go npm install sound-play. Is that it? Double check. Yes, you don't want to download the wrong thing. Boom. And what that does is just going to allow us to, in the packages, I now have SoundPlay as one of my dependencies. Fantastic. I'm just going to remove the hats. I don't care. Okay, cool. In main.js then, we want to go up here and we want to do const sounds equals require and we want SoundPlay. So what we're doing is we're just going to use SoundPlay, right? And then down here message dot. Actually, do you know what I can do? I might make this even fucking. Do you know what? I might make this even cleaner. Nah, just do it this way. Hassle.
I see you.
I see you. How are you? What's the crack? Well, you're just coming in at the right time. You're just. Hello, how are you doing? Hello, hello, hello. I've just gotten the bot to just about work, and now I'm just gonna add. Okay, so exclamation mark wallow, and I'm just gonna go no response. Actually, no, client say into channel, and it's just gonna go deemed wallow. How's the coding stream going? It's going pretty well. Thank you very much for the raid. Thank you very much for the raid. I hope your stream went well as well. Right, so if I go here and I do wallow, and then I want to do sound.play. I just want to see if this works. Oh wait, I should make a path, shouldn't I? I should use path. Path.join, and we want to use directories because we don't know where this is going to be, right? So from path.join, and we want to join paths from our directory to Wololo. Go forth, my JavaScript words, bring forth a message to the best. Okay. So get your Wololos ready, because when I kick off the bot, there are no restrictions to this. This could play dozens of times. So let's see. Oops. Did I installed that twice? Nah, it's fine, it's fine. Alright, so by the way, I'm pressing up to get that back. So let's run the npm start. Okay, that's now running. So who wants to do the first Wololo?
Wololo.
It's working.
Wololo. Wololo. Wololo.
All right. Okay. I should get a clap sound. I should. Yeah, it sounded like an arena match. We're researching herbal medicine up in this shit, Lamau. All right, that does it. That has Walla load. I want to clip that one. What timestamp is that? 420. Nice. Walla. Can I get a few more Walla please, before we finish up? I feel like that was a victory for all of us. I feel like I need to add yes. Can I add yes? Can I add yes before we finish up, please? You know, because then I feel like I've recreated AoE 2 in my own chatbot. Just walala. Yes, walala. Hang on, we gotta do it. Come on, we gotta do it. Oh, we gotta do it today. What age are you in? Yes. Hang on. Yes. Okay, that's the gamer that he is. He'd like to hear this clip. Please clip it. Alright. Alright, needs 11. Alright. Yes, that MP3. Alright, so I gotta go get yes. Hold on. Alright, get ready. Alright. Okay, it's up.
Yes.
Oh shit! Hang on,
Yes.
I broke that.
Yes.
Yep, I have the wrong
Yes.
response.
Yes.
No, but you have walala and yes. Hang on, I broke that. Hold on. No. It's I just had the wrong response message in.
Yes.
Okay. Here we go. Go. It's up now.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Welcome to AoE
Yes.
2. Fantastic. I'm proud of this. This is perfect. Ah. There we go. Absolute victory. So on the next stream, I think I'll find a way to categorize. I might add a little like drop down so I can like add a certain file, and then I need to also traverse through. I need to be able to traverse through. All right, so I need to go through a files in Node, and I need to then make them all into commands and then play them. But this looks like it runs fine. It'll run all the sounds just fine, doesn't it? Like I haven't seen. I mean, obviously I need to add cooldowns and shit, but like, you know, initially this is fine. Bonage. So right now we only have 2 pieces of code here. We only have the lowercase includes hello, below, and yes. The hello just does a response, but yeah. It's all here though. Is there a way to set up a command as something like sounds that would have the chatbot whisper to all the sound commands and not post the actual chat and spam? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Hold on.
Yes.
Okay. Let's try that. Let's try that. Let's try that. Can I do a whisper? Oh shit. Okay. All right, let's try that. So Juice. It still works. All right. No, hold on. This might get my chatbot banned, but I've just changed my client to Whisper. So no, I don't think that's right. What does Whisper do? Whisper, username string, message string. Okay, username string, message string. So tags, username, sup, and I'm just gonna do sup. I'm gonna just see if it works. All right. I'm gonna see if it works. If you use exclamation mark and it goes whisper to me, whisper to me. Okay, and I mean, let's see. I mean, fuck it. I'm gonna figure it out. All right. This is where it gets fun, though, chat. This is where it gets fun. All right. So, did it whisper? Ah, shit. I realized that won't work. I have to make it all lowercase. I have to make it lowercase. No, hold on. I need to kill it. Every time I have to change the code, I have to rerun it. So now it's worked. Now it's updated. Try now. Because this is a Windows application, so. That work? Oh, creepy! Oh, creepy. That's fucking creepy, dude. Oh, this is too powerful. I got a DM. That's it. Yeah, I can send DMs from my fucking chat. Oh man, if someone's spamming, I can be here, lad. Cut that out. Ooh, this is powerful. Ooh, oh no, I shouldn't know that one. That's not good. Okay. Well, I only ran it with 3 people. I know not to do that. Why is there a whisper function? What API is this? This is Twitch's API. I'm accessing Twitch's API. I don't know. Like, this is what Twitch does. But you asked if I could do it, and it turns out I can. So, you know, I'm just fucking great. All right. I'm just reported. Enjoy ban. Bye, Verdian bot. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's like auditing or something. It's weird. Yeah, I'm gonna git reset. Anyway, that is the creepy part though, isn't it? Right. I'm gonna delete the whisper to me one, and I'm just gonna leave it going so you can willow and yes as much as you want before I before I end the stream. So chatbot's running right now. I still haven't figured out what the performance impact is actually.
Yes.
Electron. It's using 160 megabytes. It's actually not that bad.
Yes.
If I run
Yes.
it's a lot of
Yes.
power usage though.
Yes. Yes.
So every time I run a command, it opens up
Yes.
it opens up a console. Ooh. I'll be interested to see if I commit this. Here's the thing, right? I'm actually going to try something before we go. No, I won't. I don't know. See, I'm looking at my performance and it's like 54 megabytes. That's pretty high. This thing's to fuck around. Like I'm not into it for performance right now. I mean, Discord is using 326 megabytes and it's just sitting there. So yeah, I think it's confirm that. I'm gonna hit this up. Discord is surprisingly memory hungry for what it does. Discord is an Electron app. I'm using the same technology as Discord. All right. Anyway, I think that's it. I count for the day you forget the bot is running still. Yeah, and it just randomly fucking DMs a bunch of people. Play some off-stream ring and he's Whoa. Well, good night, Foxball. I hope your hangover is not bad in the morning. Good night, Eric. I think I'm gonna finish it up there. I had a bit of crack there. I thought that was fun. You know, a bit of crack as in an Irish way, just before I get censored. Become sentient and starts DMing lewds. Imagine, just like ASCII dicks to everyone. Brothers in arms. Just two dicks crossing. It just says brothers in arms underneath. That reminds me of Snazri used to put ASCII dicks in my fucking chat and be like, do you like what you see? I'm like, fucker. But thank you very much for hanging out with me tonight. I was incredibly nervous. I'm gonna turn off my music now and be serious. I'm gonna be very serious. Thank you so much for hanging out for this coding stream. Thank you, Hassel, for the raid, and for, I mean, Bento and Badman and Stigan overall here for the whole time. It's just like learning along with us and asking questions. We had Ron Seal as well earlier on. Ron, it was nice to see Ron Seal back. Thank you for the new follow, by the way. Johnny. Oh, is it Johnny? Jonesy Boy. Sorry, Jonesy Boy. That's awesome. Though I couldn't follow on paper, I know you can go back and guide myself. Yeah, I'd like to think that I don't go off on too many tangents, Bento. I hope not. And if I do, like, just ask questions. Also, like, all the code is up there. Like, everything up to the hello. I haven't added the whisper code. I'm not going to commit. And the sounds I'm not going to commit. Because that's a public repo and I don't have the rights to these sounds to, like, distribute them. so I can't do that. So you'll always have to get your own sounds. I can't provide sounds. But what I'm hoping to do is set up a way that you can make a path to your own sounds in the UI. So that might be the next job, where like you can open up, like say in this chat, like I can open up a way to open up, like access my file, access my sounds list, and then from there it generates all the sounds and like goes through them or something. I don't know. I need to figure out how to do that because I haven't done that before. The next stream is going to be a lot less organized. I wanted to kind of get everyone to this point because then we can all experiment. The next stream is next Thursday. Next coding stream, if I'm around. Whenever I'm around on a Thursday, I'll do a coding stream, I think that's going to be my thing now. Coding streams on Thursdays. Accesses my sounds, accidentally chooses C as a source location. Yeah, doxes myself straight off the bat. Yeah, I'll need to figure out. I'll read on how to access files through Node, and then like I'll figure out how to do it. And then if I know how to do it, then I'll be ready for the stream. If not, we can research it, figure it out as a team. We made the render layer, so we know what we need to work with. I think a lot of it is going to be sending messages and like updating and reconnecting and stuff like that. Default system 32, 100%. And it deletes it. So some of the stuff we got to do, and just like as a list, like very loose list, but we got to, like, first off, get the rest of the chatbot kind of working. Like, I want to get sounds and I want to get socials done. I think socials would be easy enough. I actually think I could do socials in like a day or in like 10 minutes. So I think the next one's going to do socials. What if it's just deletes it? Well, yeah. I'm like mid, just cut off. Oh, gone. So deletes. Yeah. So, oh God, I almost said, so
Yes.
deletes. Yes. Honk, 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 honk. Rusky, you just look what you did to my fucking interface. Look at this shit. Look at all this crap all over my console. Motherfucker. Anyway. So I've turned that off for now. Anyway, I better turn all this off. So yeah, no, thank you all so much. Thank you all so much for hanging out tonight. I had a great time. And yeah, it still came up fully because I moved over to another chat. But yeah, I had a great time messing around with this. I was worried that I couldn't figure this out, but yeah, I'm worried. We will corrupt your system and your VOD. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I'll upload this to YouTube. I don't know if I accidentally. I'm not sure if I showed my key or not. I don't think I did. If I did, though, I'm going to delete my VOD and you'll have to watch it on YouTube. But hopefully not. I don't think I did. But anyway, that is all. Just chatting category. Oh, Foxbot! I'm just Foxbot's after showing me and muted the fucking whisper from the bot. That is fucking madness. That's so creepy. I hate that. Oh man, I can't let that happen. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. I'm actually really tired. I've just talked more than I ever have in a stream for like 3 hours. Better hope no one discovers that. I mean, it's there as a function. It must be there for a reason. Like, maybe bots do send all the sound commands. Maybe that's like a thing. I don't know. Like, I know not to use it stupidly, and I'm sure my bot will be banned if it did. So yeah, it's in the docs. Like, it's not like I discovered a hidden fucking thing. I literally pressed dot and found whisper. So I'm kind of like, if they really didn't want people using it or knowing about it. Work around not using Whisper as a second chat group. Yeah. It was one of the first. It's straight up like autocomplete. It straight up autocompleted. There was no abuse there. I answered a question. That's all I did. And my Verdian bot wasn't on for more than like 2 minutes. So I abused nothing. Oh. But yeah. Yeah, I'll be back at this next Thursday. More coding streams. I think that went well. So I'll talk to you later. Is there anyone I can raid to? I don't know. Is anyone oh god, I'm signed in as hang on, I'm signed in as the Twitch bot. I can see all the DMs I sent. Oh, that's weird. That's really weird. Alright. Twitch, Valverdian, let's go. Let's find anyone who I know who is streaming. How do you feel about going to Baron McBoom Boom? Or should we just... I don't know, I don't mind leaving it. Like, I can't really hang out and chat, so I'm just gonna... I am gonna raid and run. I am tired. My throat is killing me. Stream Bento. Yeah, Bento. Come on. Raid Bento. Bento, are you streaming? Get going, Bento. Oh, I'll kick it on today. Do you know do you know what I can do with the chatbot? I can target other channels like that. We can go onto Bento's chat and kick off my chatbot. Oh, wow. I don't know. I don't fucking know if it'll work. Hang on, Bento. Hang on, for science. Hold on, for science, Bento. All right. Do you? All right. Okay. Someone go to Bento's chat and type something. So I want to see if this works. Oh, that's fucking amazing. Oh shit. I know. Hassel went to the other chat and ran it.
Yes.
It's coming. Bento, check your channel. Bento, open up your channel in another tab and type something. I'm definitely going to get... Nah, this is definitely wrong. This is madness. Listen, I got consent from Flying Bento to attempt this. This is not me. No, my bot is still talking to me, but I listen to Bento's channel. That's how it works. So, like, if you look, I can't show you because I can't, like, I would dox my OAuth code if I did.
Yes.
See? Yes. All right. I'm stopping it now. I'm oh, that's nuts. Oh. Imagine if one of us could type our own chats and you'd have no idea where it came from. That'd be insane. Well, see, the thing is, I learned something about this bot, right? I learned something. I'm fucking supposed to go, but no, come on, I'm having too much fun. I learned something about this bot, right? Let me just show desktop, right? I learned something about this bot that if I go main here for the channel, I think I can add multiple channels. I can add like 2 or 3 channels. Like right now the Twitch art is my channel, right? But I can go, oh, well I want like Flying Bento. Hang on. Okay, all right. One more cove around the sun. Let's go. Hang on. I need to hide my This is fucking getting me. This is getting my shit banned. Like 100%. It does use stream keys. You have to auth yourself. Like I'm putting my Verdian bot on the line here. Like it's come on, man. Come on. It's an API. It's you know, all right. Fully trained noob. Right? Okay, so whoops, desktop. Okay, so I've added fully trained noob and me. So if this works, join fully trained noob. Holy shit, I joined it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Beautiful. Yes.
Yes.
That's amazing. All right. So I can actually add several channels. And I won't know where it's coming from. I can make a network of fucking dumb. Imagine just make a network of channels that like can fuck with me. If I put no, but the thing is, if I put absolutely no response, so if I take off the redeem bit, okay, just take the redeem bit off here. If I take the redeem bit off the code where it says here, where I say stuff into the channel, I say absolutely nothing into the channel. How would they know? How would anyone know? It would just be sitting there causing havoc on my fucking stream. Could you imagine? But you could, all right, yeah, you could, look, all software is open for abuse, that's fine. But the thing is, right, you could also set it that every time the word "there" is said, someone goes, like, it could fuck me up. Like, I could, oh man, you apply that to like someone who has 10,000 viewers, and just every time someone speaks, like something goes off. Like every time the word "there" is used, or every time the word "egg" is used, or something, you get a random siren in your ears. It would like chatbot roulette. It would be straight up like the chat unbeknownst to you, and no one will know what you're doing. Absolutely unbeknownst to them, they're deciding whether or not your ears get destroyed. If anybody uses a Pepe emote on someone's stream that has no idea, it kills you. It turns off. Oh man, can I do something like client disconnect? I fucking can. I can disconnect myself. Oh no. Oh. I can only disconnect myself. I can't disconnect anything else. So I can kill the bot. All right. I could kill the bot. Yeah, you could be like, you could put in a thing to kill the bot from the chat. All right, look. Listen, I'm getting too excited and we have plenty of time to do this, all right? We can just do this next stream. Okay? We can look into all this weird shit next stream. I have no power. You have no power here. But this is fun. We can do all sorts of weird shit with this. Anyway, look. Here's the funny thing. is that all of this kind of happens. All of this is ahead of us. I think I'm just going to call it a night. I don't think I'm going to raid tonight. I think I'm just going to call it a night. And yeah, I'm going to call it a night because I'm knackered. But thank you so much for hanging out. This was this was educational for both me and you. I definitely learned a lot about the Twitch API and what you can do and what you can't do. I've done a lot of messing before, but like, you know, this side of it seems a bit more flexible, which is interesting. I have to be very careful though. But yeah, Valbot continues. Have a great night or day and take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Thank you all for hanging out. I had fun. I hope you did too. I'm sorry if I was all over the place, but we did the best we could. Take care of yourselves and I'll see you soon. Bye.